Well, a pleasant good evening, everyone, from Clipper Magazine Stadium. Along with Pete Andrelzik, I'm Dave Collins. After a 13-6 Barnstormers win last night, Game 2 of the series tonight. We'll have it for you in just a moment. Well, as we alluded, last night was a high-scoring contest and a home run festival. There's the first Barnstormers home run. Trayvon Robinson, Nate Coronado later in the fourth inning to give the Barnstormers a 2-1 lead. The biggest homer of all, though, was this one, a grand slam by 40-year-old Major League veteran Endy Chavez. The Barnstormers coming back. Blake Galen launches a solo shot to cut the lead to 5-3. Nate Coronado puts the Barnstormers in the lead to stay with a 3-run homer. 6-5 at that point. The Barnstormers would go on to pull away with a series of RBI hits, etc., and picked up the victory last night by a score of 13-6.
We've talked about prior to these games that I've been in here with you, a little bit of a delay. I've been away for a little bit. It's nice to be back. It's super sunny. Haven't had a game like this for me yet. But we've talked about the fact that the Barnstormers can score runs in a multitude of different ways, and yesterday you saw the power just come out and be on full display, especially with Galen having, you said, what now, he's 7 home runs in the last 13 games for him. So yeah, he's putting on a show lately.
Lineup tonight for the Somerset Patriots. They get Craig Massey back. He had been out for the last 2 or 3 days. Kyle Roller, always dangerous in this ballpark. He has struggled this season, but does have a long home run here. Take a look at the Barnstormers defensively. It's Anderson De La Rosa's turn to work behind the plate. Nate Coronado and Carlos Garcia start in the infield. Tyler Bortnick and Rico Noel with the evening off tonight. In the outfield, pretty much the standard that we have seen this year. On the hill is Steve Johnson, the right-hander out of Baltimore and a one-time Oriole. He is 3-1 for the Barnstormers this year, including a win against the Somerset Patriots Ball Club back late in the month of May. Johnson, 6'1", 225-pound right-hander, making the start against the Patriots, his second against them. Overall, his 8th start of the season. He has struck out 37 batters in as many innings, a lot of it with his big overhand curveball. He's got a beauty.
It's the first time I've seen number 17 on the field since up in Bridgeport. Did anybody have that number last year?
No, we did try to avoid it last year. Here's the first pitch to Bourbon, and it's strike one on the outside corner, says tonight's home plate umpire Dave Gabor. No relation to Ava or Jaja, as far as I know.
I've got Dorn and Gabor here.
That is knocked down by Hobson. He'll pick it back up and step to the bag. Bourbon retired, 3 unassisted. Johnson getting the first out.
These early innings can always be tough for hitters, but it's the first 2 normally, from what I've heard when I was here, the first 2 are okay. As we see Hobson knock the ball down, especially the first baseman's job in that situation, just body the ball up, keep it in front. You've got time, get over there and get the out. But these first two innings are generally not as bad as that third, fourth, and fifth kind of where the sun starts to set over that center field wall.
I think it's to some extent better now that the scoreboard area has been filled in.
Mm-hmm.
First pitch is low to Endy Chavez. Both of his home runs this year have been hit here. 7 of Somerset's 22 home runs this season have been in this ballpark in 5 games. 2-0 now.
Is that 32%?
Yes, sir.
I looked at the paper. I cheated on that one.
I thought you could do math.
I can. I just like to.
You like to mess with me, don't you?
Every now and again.
2-0. Strike delivered. Chavez spent 13 seasons at the major league level. Second year here in the Atlantic League. And it's another ball very well here. Sanford will gallop over, glide underneath, and make the catch. Chavez retired. That's out number 2. As long as you can get balls hit in that neighborhood, you're generally going to be okay here.
Absolutely. I mean, that was hit really well. If we're talking about playing in Southern Maryland, that might be off the wall. But if you can get balls up there, like you said, in that left field alley, that left center alley, then we've got the outfield speed to run those down.
We may not see the balls leave tonight like we did last night. The air is drier and the wind is blowing in. 2 outs. Johnson goes to work on Alfredo Rodriguez. Galen will chase that into the corner, but will run out of room.
Yeah, that's first 11 runs last night on 6 home runs, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. You don't often see that.
Up the middle and a base hit. Rodriguez into an unfamiliar spot for him in the batting order, hitting third tonight off of Steve Johnson. He's generally a 1-2 or 7 or 8 type hitter. Danny Dorn, the first baseman, to the plate. 2-out single. Johnson not in any grave danger here.
Funny, as a hitter, I never knew if that little hybrid kind of windup threw those guys off or not, because he looks exactly like he does in the windup right now as he's in the stretch. It's just there's a little less movement with that front side.
First pitch up to Dorn for a ball, 1-0.
A lot of guys will do that. They'll maintain similarities if they can within their windup and their stretch, and getting to certain spots when they can, so that it's just you feel more comfortable in getting to those certain spots. So you can see with his windup, it's very, very similar to his stretch. Wow.
1-1.
It's a beautiful pitch.
He's got
beautiful
a
changeup.
very good assortment of off-speed pitches. And that's why even at the major league level, he struck out more than a batter in an inning. Pitching for the Orioles and the Mariners, it's not that he's overpowering. Sometimes you associate the overpowering pitchers with the strikeouts, and often that's true, but not always.
Guys who can manipulate the zone and throw good breaking stuff, especially if you can put the ball where you want and then be able to throw a breaking ball where you want as well, and especially when you do strike one. Strike one is the most important pitch of any at-bat. If you can do all those things, you don't have to have unbelievable stuff because you put guys on the defensive.
It's a Dorn 1-1. Johnson misses away. Craig Massey is the on-deck batter. He's playing third base tonight. Casey Hobson holding Alfredo Rodriguez on. Rodriguez with 8 stolen bases for the year. Missing away, so a 3-1 count.
Just nibbling away there again. So we talked about being able to get in the zone and dictate where you want to be at in the zone. You can see the approach right now is just to stay away, away, away. Even if you walk somebody, it's not the worst thing that can happen in this park, especially with a guy who's got stuff like his and he can command the zone. You don't want to give in and throw something down the middle. So not the worst thing.
Gives up the walk. Massey to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. It's developed late in this inning. The third baseman, another left-handed batter coming in. Massey hitting .333 with 12 runs batted in. He's reached base in 15 out of his last 18 games, and He's hit 373 in that span.
Well, then maybe we should have attacked the guy before him. But again, it's you find as a right-hander, it's even if you've played here for years and years and years, or if it's your second start here, that wall is just imposing, and you want to stay away from it. And even if you have a game plan of being able to go inside, you have to get over that fact that, you know, if you miss over the plate, it might get hit, and you really just have to attack the zone.
You did a pretty good job of it, as I recall. Home runs were few and far between. Swing and a miss, an off-speed pitch, 0-2.
Last time I was out here, there were 4 walks, all the lefties. So I stayed away. That was for
yeah,
sure.
but you were rusty. It was only your only appearance of the year last year.
Yeah. But no, that was always.
You got away with them too.
Oh yeah. I joked. I remember it was against Somerset.
0-2 pitch, line drive,
There we
gloved by Coronado. Good reaction, and it ends the inning. Got away with it. Bit of a scare. 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 left. Bottom of the first, coming around, no score. Take a look at the Barnstormers lineup tonight. Trayvon Robinson going 4 for 4 last night, jumping up to the number 3 hole. And the ongoing story of Grant Desmay. He had a couple of hits here last night. The man returning after an 8-year hiatus, hitting .375. That's something special. And the nation starting to awaken to the arrival of Grant Desmay here. Defense not as patchwork as it was last night for Brett Jody. He does get Craig Massey back. He's still got a couple of his infielders out. And Jovan Gonzalez back to his comfort zone behind the plate. Last night he played third. Darian Sanford against Dwayne Belo, and the first pitch is outside. A ball, 1-0. Belo is 2-2, 3.68 ERA. He's walked only 6 batters in 36 2/3 innings, and he's a classic Somerset Patriots left-hander. Fouled away by Sanford, 1-1. Brett Jody, and before him, Sparky Lyle, loves those left-handers who throw strikes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially in a park like this, sorry, excuse me. You can get a lefty who throws strikes who has any kind of funky arm angle, any good breaking ball. You can throw at the front hip of a left-handed batter for us. It gets them off that ability to...
Ground ball deflected by the pitcher Belo out to Rodriguez, who can't manage it. Sanford aboard, and it could be off to the races once again for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Sanford with 32 stolen bases to lead the league. He has 10 in his last 7 ball games.
That's almost one. I always had trouble with those as a pitcher. You go for it, you hit it, and then you look back and see your shortstop right behind you and say, you know what, I just shouldn't have touched it. But it's a natural reaction as an athlete. You want to be able to get the ball. I don't know if he's going to get that anyway because of that high hop off the mound. But once Belo touched it, it's all she wrote, and Sanford standing on first.
To the plate, and a ball inside to Blake Galen. If he drives in a run tonight, he'll set a franchise record.
Another one? Doesn't
In this case,
feel like he's got them all.
In this case, a record within a season, driving a run for the 10th straight game.
Wow.
Ryan Harvey knocked in a run in 9 games in a row late in 2012. To the plate, Galen swings and hits a drive to right field. Way back it goes, and he's done it again. You want to talk about somebody who is on an unbelievable hot streak right now. Galen, with his 8th home run in 14 games, he's driven in a run in 10 games in a row. He leads the league in both departments, and he's given the Barnstormers a 2-0 lead.
I'll tell you what, he almost caught up to Sanford on the bases because as soon as he hit that, Sanford just stood and watched. Just like Chavez. I don't think Chavez moved. If we get a shot at Endy Chavez out there and right, I think he just stood there.
When I've said this almost daily for the last week and a half. When Blake Galen's swinging the bat well, doesn't matter if it's a right-hander or a left-hander on the mound. He can square up almost anything. First pitch to Trayvon Robinson is low. And Robinson was 4 for 4 last night. Galen was 4 for 5.
Honestly, I truly believe that a lot of that was set up by Sanford in the fact that you get a guy on base who can run and who can do damage and get into scoring position on one pitch, then you alter, as a left-handed pitcher for sure, right-handers too, you alter, are you slide stepping, are you leg lifting, and your control just isn't as good.
So Robinson a strike now, 2-1. Trayvon 9 out of 18 against the Patriots this year. He hit the first Barnstormers home run, the first of the 4 last night. Did that as a left-handed batter. 3-1 now from Belo. An infield single followed by a 2-run blast. The Barnstormers have the early advantage for Steve Johnson tonight.
That works. Any way you can get them on. Not one doesn't get out of the infield, the other gets out of the stadium.
Robinson swings and misses, a full count. Casey Hobson on deck, and then Grant Desmay. The numbers for Galen in these last 14 games are staggering. 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in.
Wow. When you get production like that, and he's just constantly in the lineup, it's tough for opposing pitchers and just such a boon for your offense.
Fouled away.
And it's almost like you just come to, it's weird when he doesn't do that.
Yeah,
I remember when I was playing with him, it was just like when he didn't get a hit, it was weirder than when he went 4 for 4.
He came out of what, anyway, by Blake Galen's standards would be a slump, and has gone into this amazing surge. 3-2. Robinson with another foul ball poked away. Darian Sanford last night in the 7th inning had a 13-pitch walk.
Wow.
And that really is when the Barnstormers were able to blow the game open. He's retired there. It's still 8-6, and Somerset's in it. He draws that long walk, tires out the pitcher at the time, Mulligan. Galen follows with a 2-run single off of Chase Hutchinson, and suddenly it's 11-6. Robinson pops up another one coming back toward the screen. Yovan Gonzalez, he won't have room.
It's a great at-bat right here. Just like you said last night, it's a 13-pitch walk. As a pitcher, you want to keep an inning under 13 pitches. When you have to throw 13 pitches to one guy, no matter if you get him out or not, I mean, you obviously want to get him out, but it's just tiring. 13 pitches in a row that are high-stress pitches because, and especially with a guy like that who, if he gets on, now you really got to worry that he's on base and you got to figure out how to get him off.
It was with the bases loaded at the time, actually.
Unbelievable.
Payoff pitch again to Trayvon. He'll get the walk.
Great at-bat.
Belo still has not retired a batter here in the bottom of the first inning. We'll get another look at the Blake Galen home run, and that is right in a location. Blake knows what to do with it, and that ball, methinks, found Clay Street or close to it. Couldn't see where it came down. Never has there been a player more suited for the ballpark in which he plays than Blake Galen is here, although Casey Hobson is made a career out of this place as well, but he doesn't need the help, I don't think, from the right field dimension as much as Blake has gotten it over the years. But that...
Don't tell Blake that.
Yeah, well, if there have been a few. Casey, when he hits them, they're out of anywhere.
The only time Blake needs is when he hits those screaming line drives that just get up enough.
Into the dirt, bouncing away from Gonzalez, and the wild pitch moves Robinson to second. But the lion's share of Galen's home runs as a Barnstormer have been hit in this ballpark this year less than any other year. About 3/4. Just look at this. I mean, he was waiting on that pitch, and you can't do it any better than that.
And it's just such a sweet swing, and you see Chavez there. He is just watching. Yep, and there it goes. Now, off the bat, it's just one of those ones where you just kind of sit and watch.
Below to Hobson, 1-1. In the dirt again. Gonzalez gets enough of it. 2 balls and a strike. That was Galen's 82nd career home run.
Wow.
As a Barnstormer. This year he's hit 6 out of his 11 here, but nearly 3/4 of his home runs coming into the season here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. He has 4 at Long Island this year.
Oh, wow. Long Island plays pretty fair all fields, too. And Blake's a guy that he hits well in this park, obviously, but he does a really good job of hitting to the park that he's playing.
Yeah, he adjusts to other ballparks, and he always has.
Which is just a sign of a good hitter.
The 2-1 to Hobson. Swung on, and this is skied over on the left side. Charging over is Pacioli on that towering pop fly. He'll make the catch. That is out number 1. He'll bring on Grant Desmay, the DH. Grant hitting .375, 12 out of 32.
That was a long run for Pacioli. They had Hobson shaded, so Pacioli was pretty much way over there in left center. And for a pretty routine fly ball to left field, he must have ran 75 yards. Maybe not 75 yards. 48.
Yeah.
I'll go 48.
See if Desmay can pick up the run. Below to the plate. Grant swings and misses. No balls and a strike. Nate Coronado waits on deck. This lineup just seems to get better and better. And that's after losing Terdoslavich, who was a pretty big part of the lineup. But you have to figure Casey Hobson will be there. He's struggling here at the outset. Desmay bounds it foul, 0-2. Grant Desmay has, I think, shocked the world that he can come back after sitting out for 8 years and look like he never missed a beat.
That's a special kind of athlete. You can just... Came back after like 2 months, and I was like...
And you walked 4 left-handed batters. That's what you did.
Exactly, I know. I was like 82 miles an hour. I remember talking to Tyler Bortnick before the game. I said, hey, if I face you, I'm 85 tops. And he laughed at me because he didn't think I was serious. He gets in the box, and I was 85. I struck him out with the slider, and he looks at me like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, no, dude, I was not lying to you.
Barnstormers would like to pick up this 3rd run in the inning. It's 0-2 on Desmay. Takes a pitch low, knocked down off the chest protector by Gonzalez. Last night, Kyle Davies didn't allow a run in the first inning, but he threw 28 pitches. It's already 21 for Below. The Barnstormers are doing to Somerset what New Britain did last week to Lancaster's pitching staff, and that's just go deep into the counts all the time.
And it wears you down, especially in this kind of heat. It just wears you down. So this, to me, even the 2 runs obviously is a beneficial inning, but even if they don't score another run here, it's just, to me, is just a very, very quality inning. We've seen that they're not missing with much with the bats, even when they're down 2 strikes or at 3-2, they're fouling balls off. They look comfortable at the plate. So hopefully just a little carryover from last night where they scored, what was it, 11?
13.
13, sorry. 13 runs. So that offense carrying over can really just help your pitching staff, especially on a night that is kind of humid and hot.
Here's the 1-2 again to Desmay. He nubs a foul up the first base line. JB will handle that. Still 1-2. Desmay sticks around. But the national media is starting to pick up on this story. The return of one-time super prospect Grant Desmay to the game of baseball. Did you look at his numbers from 2009 in the Oakland organization?
I remember you were talking to me
31
about
homers, 40 stolen bases. He had 11 more home runs in the Arizona Fall League.
Oh. Like I said, that's just a special athlete when you can just say, you know what, I'm going to give this another try. Let's go back. And it's like you never left. You wonder what through those 8 years, what he would have accomplished. But again, sometimes it takes being away from the game for a little bit to just drive that passion back. So
taps another foul, 1-2. But to be able to get your body back in condition.
yeah, especially because baseball. I mean, we always get a rap. You don't have to be the best athlete in the world, but you do have to have very specific skills and very specific lateral movements and very quick twitch muscle fibers to be able to do this game, because you can't just get out into the field. And how hard is it to hit?
1-2, slap the third. With it is Massey. He'll peg across the diamond for the second out. And now it's up to Coronado. Nate at 250 with 2 home runs. He's driven in 6 runs in his last 6 at-bats.
But you watch any sports science or anything where they're doing the science of hitting, and it's just it should be physically impossible to hit a baseball. It should be. It's the hardest thing that I could think to do in any sport. I mean, you don't want to get hit by a 270-pound linebacker, but anybody can do that. You know, you don't want to do it, and you want to try to avoid it, but there's not many people.
You can get hit by a 270-pound linebacker. You may not survive it,
yeah,
but you can at least do it.
But to hit a baseball, you put a lot of professional athletes in the box, and it's just not going to happen.
To Coronado low, ball 1-0 strikes. 2 outs now with Robinson still parked at second. Coronado, guy who hit .333 as a Barnstormer last year. Young man out of Philadelphia, quite a find.
I think it helps that even after those 2 runs, you get a guy on base, so that even those 15 pitches or so that came after that, those are still high-stress pitches, because you got a guy on second base, and if you make a mistake, there's your 3rd run. So being able to have that presence out on the base paths is really doing a better job for the Barnstormers, because you can even see he's not going to steal 3rd with 2 outs, but he's still in Belo's head. So those pitches become more high-stress and more important than they would be if there was nobody on base.
Coronado's protected by Frias. The pitch fouled out of play. 28 pitches again in the first inning.
I feel like you can say that about anybody. Galen's protected by Robinson, who's protected by Hobson, who's protected by... It just goes, it goes down the line.
Very good batting order.
Yeah.
And it's missing 2 of its key elements tonight. Noel and Castile are both out of this lineup. It's De La Rosa's turn to catch. So 2 of the best hitters have the night off so far. 2-1. And Coronado gets ball 3 upstairs, 3-1. But after a 2-homer, 4 RBI game with 1 gem in the field last night, Coronado had to play again.
Yeah.
Tyler Bortnick didn't have a bad night at all last night either. He scored 2, he drove in 2, but he's the odd man out of this rotating crew of infielders tonight. 3-1, foul tip.
Just not a comfortable inning so far for Belo, especially like we talked about in this heat with this lineup, guys on base. You give up a long home run, and it's going to take him going back in the dugout after this inning and just kind of gathering up and saying, you know what, here's where we are. Let's go back and pitch the rest of my game.
To Coronado, the payoff pitch. Swung on and hit high in the air out the center. It'll be handled by Bourbon. That'll end it. The Barnstormers pick up 2. They can't make anything out of the ensuing walk, but Blake Galen's home run gives the Barnstormers the early lead, 2-0 at the end of 1. Barnstormers out to the quick start here tonight as the youngsters are here. Sure, there are some oldsters here as well.
Never heard that one.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sitting here.
So do I get to be a youngster if you're the oldster?
You get to be a midster.
A midster.
A midster.
Midster. I'll take a midster.
You can be a midster.
I'll take some ice cream, too. That kid needed some ice cream and some fries.
Kyle Roller leads off the second. Johnson had some time to sit, but shouldn't stiffen up. First pitch, good for a strike to Roller. He has one of his 2 home runs here this year, and he hit it to the opposite field, which is a rarity for a left-handed batter at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
That opening pitch is the one that he kept trying to paint with Dorn.
Second strike to Roller. Gonzalez and Francoso will follow.
Doesn't really agree with that one. But again, those are the ones where you get the first call, and even if you throw a ball in the second one, you want to kind of try to take it a baseball width out. And if you get it, you get it, and then you kind of try to you inch yourself out a little bit further every time. What you tried to do right there, he just kind of got his arm under that, and the ball sailed away. But that's what you're going to see is you see what you can get, especially early on. In these early innings, you want to see how far you can go with the umpire. And then when he doesn't give it to you, you ask, okay, is that the length?
1-2 pitch, right in there. Strike 3 called. Johnson notches strikeout number 1 here tonight. Jovan Gonzalez will step in.
And again, there's no magic about that at bat. There's no magic about that formula. It's just, okay, fastball outside, I got it. Fastball outside, I'm going to try it again. He tried it on that 0-2 pitch, a little bit high, and then just said, you know what? I feel confident in my ability to keep going out there. And you could see Roller just wasn't comfortable with the strikes that were called on him, so why not?
To Gonzalez, a first pitch strike.
And a lot of that is just allowing and letting the hitter dictate what you're going to do pitching-wise.
Barnstormers are out to a 2-0 lead tonight, and they have an advantage, not just on the scoreboard, but the fact that Below threw 31 pitches in the first inning. A lot of Somerset's long relievers were used for just a long inning last night. Chopped up the line at third. That will trickle foul.
Yeah, when you scored 10 runs in the last, what was it? No, it was, how many in the last 3
They scored 10 runs in the last 3 innings. From innings 6 through 8.
Yeah.
And those were some long innings, a lot of pitches thrown by Molesky, Mollican, and Hutchinson last night.
That look tells you all. That look tells you everything right there. Just, we got to go through and do this again, and they're already on the board. So, again, yeah, it's 10 runs in the last 3 innings. It wears guys out.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Steve Johnson ready to go. That is lined to right field on a pitch that appeared inside, but that's Gonzalez's specialty. Jovan Gonzalez last night had a couple of hits to the right side. A single and a double, 1 out runner. Mike Francoso, the second baseman, checking in.
Just a missed spot, got up there. Jovan got his hands out, got his hands extended, and drove that ball to right field. And we were talking about my appearance last year. We had bases loaded, and he came up, and I was joking with him after that. I said, you know what, if you just would have walked up there left-handed, you guys would have scored a run. You wouldn't have even had to swing. But I remember he grounded out to second base, and I said, look, if you just would have stood in there left-handed, I would have had no shot.
To Francoso, first pitch strike.
There's those outside fastballs that you're going to see him continually throughout the game just try to keep going and going and going. Then when you get these left-handed hitters leaning out, expecting that now, then that is when you can bust them inside.
This one away, and a 1-1 count. Francoso turned in a couple of defensive gems last night, including one early on Vladimir Frias where he charged a ball the edge of the infield grass and flicked it out of his glove, barely without even touching the ball, deflecting it right to the first baseman. It was a brilliant play. And very little time to turn it. 2-1 on Francoso. Peccioli waits on deck. And then against Castile in the 7th inning, he handled an inordinately high bounce. Went up for it, fully extended on a ball that seemed to be a routine play where he would have had maybe a chest-high bounce. Here's a 2-1. Francoso fouls that off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's sometimes you just sit down when I was pitching and you're sitting down watching the game and you're in awe of some of the defensive plays that these guys are able to make. I remember my brother and I would be in our backyard, and we would take Polaroid pictures of what looked like we were us making great plays. That I would lay down on the ground and put the ball right in front of my glove, fully extended, so that it looked like I made this awesome diving play. And then you see guys out here that do that, but they do it with full speed, diving, making throws. I didn't have to get up and make a throw.
2-2. That's tapped out ahead of the plate.
You got all the time in the world.
Throw to first and her second back to first. That double play will go 2-6-3. We've seen a couple of those in this series. Hit straight down and dying as a little spinner out ahead of the plate. Easy way for Johnson to work through the second. One hit, nobody left. These are good times with the Lancaster Barnstormers, and that bullpen's been such a big part of it. We got the third and final game of this series coming up tomorrow night. Eric will be back in with me as we wrap up this set against Somerset. The Barnstormers don't head out of town, though. They'll be home for 4 against Long Island this weekend. Lancaster, a lot to say about the Liberty Division race. First pitch to Vladimir Frias, is upstairs for a ball. Guy having a sensational season. Top 5 in the league in batting. A switch hitting shortstop.
When you've got a shortstop who can do offensive things like he can, it really helps you out. The position of shortstop from when I was growing up to now has just immensely changed.
Yeah,
it's so based on hitting, and it's you've got guys who are defensive wizards, but they can also they can smack the ball around the park.
Hard hit ground ball right to his counterpart Rodriguez. That's out number 1. 4th batter in a row, retired by Bilo. Anderson De La Rosa coming to the plate. When I grew up in the era of Buddy Harrelson and Mark Belanger and
guys who could just field. That was always when I was growing up. That's just what I loved. You look
Roger
up to guys
Metzger's and I mean, there were some guys who could contribute offensively to some extent, like the Davey Concepciones, but nothing like the modern era shortstop.
And that all started, to me, I guess that probably all started, with A-Rod. I remember A-Rod used to play shortstop. Yeah,
and Cal.
Absolutely. But that's, you look at A-Rod, obviously, with a grain of salt, but there's still hard work in there. And he was a shortstop. That guy was huge.
To De La Rosa, strike 0-1. Anderson trying to bust out of a slump. Bilo comes back, and De La Rosa will hit this in the air down the right field side. Giving chase is Chavez. That's a foul ball, and simply strike 2 on De La Rosa. Carlos Garcia, the on-deck batter.
Looks like a much better job of Bilo coming in and settling into the zone, being comfortable, and it's just a testament to what those first guys in the order did last inning that set the pace and set the tone for that inning.
If the Barnstormers could knock Bealow out through about 4 innings, they could kind of set Somerset back for a couple of days. With all the work their long guys had to use up last night.
It's always a tough situation, especially when you're 47, 46 games into the season, and you don't want to burn guys up, but you're also trying to win a first half so that you can rest them later on in the year. So it's catch-22 there.
Ball 1 to Anderson De La Rosa. Somerset leading the Liberty division by a game coming into tonight. Long Island hosting Sugar Land for a second game. And when Long Island is here, Sugar Land will be over in York, though the Skeeters do have Thursday off. The two clubs get together, Lancaster and Sugar Land, for 7 next week in Texas. Off-speed pitch chased. De La Rosa gone on strikes. That is the first for Bealow, but he's retired 5 consecutive batters. Carlos Garcia will come in.
Now, is that a 7 and 7 day trip, or because I know when we went down there, we had some 7 and 6 days and things like that.
7 and 7.
Oh wow!
Monday through Sunday evenings.
You got a whole week. We'll be here all week, and you can actually mean it this time. I always like going down there. It's a beautiful stadium.
Wonderful stadium, wonderful hotel,
yeah.
Great town.
Everything around it. So
over 50 choices of places to eat.
Yeah.
If you eat at the same place twice on a trip to Sugar Land, you are boring. You're in a rut. Garcia takes a ball outside after showing bunt.
I've done it.
I have too, but you're in a rut.
Yeah.
You eat at the same place twice. That is the Sugar Land challenge. Never eat at the same place twice.
I talked to their front desk, talked them into giving me their breakfast there. Oh my gosh, it's great.
Ball 2 is outside, 2-0. I've always heard I'm not a breakfast person for breakfast. I'm a breakfast person late at night, which says something about my entire character, I suppose. But
they have a good. They're in hotel restaurant.
Yeah, it's marvelous.
Yeah.
It really is.
They have. I still remember a
2-0 pitch. Garcia drives that out towards center. It's playable. Over for it goes Bourbon, and Bealow has himself a much quicker inning in the bottom half of the second. That keeps the Patriots hanging around at the end of 2-0 Lancaster. Tough to fathom that there's actually a moon out right now, but the moon is not always entirely nocturnal. It can be out in the daytime, because we're still fighting a very brilliant sun here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The moon rising in the east. Rising in the third inning, Justin Piccoli.
You just mentioned it. The one day I forget my sunglasses. I'm going to go with your strategy here, the paper up. I was trying to fight it. I was fighting it. But
the paper visor.
Yeah. Then you got all your stats right in front of you. You might be on something. No wonder you've been so good at this.
I make it up as I go. Paccioli, the right-handed batting left fielder, stands in. First pitch from Johnson runs inside. Ball one, no strikes.
That's a pitch he was getting to the left-handers, but it's a little bit harder for an umpire with all that commotion going on and a right-hander up, catcher jumping over to that side.
Chop towards short, charging the play, Frias. He'll fire on the run, one down. Johnson will take the ground balls. Julio Bourbon hit one back in the first inning that was knocked down by Casey Hobson. Just a good solid play by Frias there.
Yeah, you can always tell the guys who are comfortable making athletic plays like that because he had time to set his feet, but he understands his body and he understands how much time he has. You know, you always tell young kids, oh, you want to set your feet before you throw, but if you feel comfortable doing that, there's no reason.
Paccioli runs pretty well too. Yeah. That's always part of the formula.
Yep. You don't want to break any kind of rhythm and then have to stop your feet, reset, and throw. And sometimes it gets you out of a rhythm in your throwing motion. And if you can just naturally work through the ball, why not? He's been doing this long enough and been doing it at a pretty high clip. So might as well let him keep doing it.
2-0 to Bourbon. Johnson allows 2 hits and a walk the first time through the lineup. That's ball 3. You don't want to, even with 1 out in an inning, get something started for Somerset. Walks have been a concern as of late for Ross Peoples. Not one yet, a called strike, 3-1. Johnson tries to fight back here.
You want to stay away from having somebody on base for the next guy. Just, he's not a huge power threat with only 2 home runs, but they are both here, and he's just a guy who knows his way around hitting.
That will be the walk. Second given up by Johnson tonight. Nobody seemed to know what to do there for a split second.
I think the only person who didn't think it was a strike was the umpire. There you can see Bourbon just kind of stays, okay, you know what, I'll take my 3 and 2, and okay, all right, you know what, I'll take my walk.
1 out runner, Endy Chavez stepping in. He flied to fairly deep left center field back in the first inning.
Here's when you start to, as a left-handed hitter, you're opened that way, so your eyes are kind of in the sun to start.
First pitch strike delivered by Johnson.
So I know it's a small little tidbit of the game, but here's where you really definitely want to work those guys away so that you keep them going into the sun. Any little advantage you can get as a pitcher, you want to use.
Throws can come out of the sun too. Generally here, that can be from a certain spot for the second baseman.
Oh, yeah.
Over to first.
Yep.
And we've seen veteran players, I think last year Alexi Casilla did it for York. He actually stepped back so he wasn't throwing out of the sun.
I've seen guys do and the first baseman usually talks to them about it. They'll do a purposeful short hop too. Or a long hop. Sorry.
Short throw, long hop.
Yes.
Pulled toward the right field side. Coming on for that is Galen. He'll make the catch. Chavez hits the ball hard for the second time tonight, coming up dry. Now the batter will be Alfredo Rodriguez, the shortstop.
Those are always the things, though, when you get to a new park or when you get to things, after you play your first game, you start to feel out the park. Outfielders usually will come in and they'll take a walk around the field if it's their first time, see how the fence plays, get some balls off the fence, see where the gaps and alleys are. Infielders, you really don't do as much because every infield is the same. And it takes the first game of a series that's played at the same time to be able to realize, okay, where's the sun going to set? Do I have to do anything different? And that's the pitch he's getting with the left-handed hitter. It seems to be tough for the umpire right now to look right over that shoulder, right through. He seems to be getting it more because right now that pitch is probably 2-3 inches, inside and off the plate. Here is a really good angle for the umpire, and he can see that. But when he's over the right shoulder.
Runner goes, pitch high. De La Rosa's throw is not in time to get Bourbon.
It's a great throw.
12th stolen base. The throw right on line. And Bourbon got around the tag. So you need that Javi Baez tag. He's as good as I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
He is remarkable getting tags down.
Yeah, and he's good at just. He knows when he's going to be out, and I love that when he's pointing to his catcher as the throw's coming in. You've seen that one?
I haven't noticed that.
Look, he does that every now and again when he knows the guy's going to be out. He'll catch it while he's pointing to the catcher, like telling him, "Hey, great throw," and put the tag down.
He is remarkable.
Oh my gosh. I remember facing him in Double-A in Tennessee, and he struggled a little bit, but it was just when he hit the ball, it was unbelievable to watch.
2-1 pitch to the right side and foul.
What's he doing? How'd he get in there?
Searching for nuts. He can come here, I'll find two.
Hey-oh. Oh, man. Now we've got all these jokes flying around.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Rodriguez, trying to pick up a run here in the 3rd inning.
Now my brain's going squirrely. I lost my train of thought.
Tries the big breaking ball, but doesn't get it there. Now it's full with the left-handed batting Dorn waiting on deck.
Very rarely can you actually say and mean that he threw a 58-foot breaking ball there, but that was a couple feet in front of the plate. Just couldn't get the depth on it. So, again, we were talking about that inside pitch. That's where I wanted to go. That inside pitch to the righty, the umpire is over De La Rosa's left shoulder, so he can clearly see that that's off the plate. But when he's on the right shoulder and you're looking over that part, you kind of see it cross that outer front part of the plate. So as to a left-hander, that's where you want to go, and you definitely want to be out on that side.
It's all a question of depth perception.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch, chopper right side. Garcia handles. He'll throw to Hobson, and Johnson works his way out of the inning. A walk, but 1 left, and through 2.5, Lancaster still leads 2-0. Top of the order coming back around for the Barnstormers here in the 3rd on this Tuesday evening at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Beautiful night for baseball. Not quite summer yet, but the conditions certainly feel like it is. Dwayne Bilo off to a shaky start. The first 3 Barnstormers reached base. Since then, he's retired 6 in a row. He'll face Sanford, who reached on an infield base hit back in the 1st inning. And as Pete said, Sanford doesn't have to steal bases to make a difference on the bases. Fly ball here toward left center field, and that will belong to Bourbon, who has his 3rd putout. 1 away. Bilo starting to get the outs in rapid-fire succession, and that will really help Somerset's cause, not just tonight, but down the road in this series as well.
Yeah, that's one where you'd kind of like to see Sanford at least take a pitch and see if you can work a count and get deep into an inning here, because you were able to do it the first time. So you saw the success that we had in that first inning with that, and if you can repeat that success, and like you said earlier in the game, try to get him out of there in 4 or 5 innings. Ooh.
Called strike to Galen. It's 0-1.
I don't believe so.
Some
It was a late call.
hesitation on the call.
Yeah. I understand it's where it crosses, not where it catches, but I don't think that crossed.
And a second strike to Blake. Belo has settled down here very nicely.
And we have just being able to go in after that first inning and say, you know what, that inning is over, it's done. I know it was long, but if I can go out and be pitch efficient for the next couple innings, I got a chance to stay in this game.
Trayvon Robinson on deck.
You made a really good point about him going out there and doing his job and trying to get as deep as he can into the game so that you save that bullpen a little bit more, and that becomes so crucial in a stretch like this.
1-2. Galen stays alive. When this stretch started, it started for Blake with 3 nights where he had solo home runs, but now he's hit safely in his last 9 ball games, and he has 16 out of 35. Here's a topper. It's going to be a tough play. Backhanded shovel toss, and nicely done by Belo and by Dorn. Galen out 1-3, 2 down, and Trayvon Robinson will step in. That's just a tough play, and again, just immediately creative, just reacting to it, and making that backhanded feed and getting it remotely close to the bag,
and that's what
where
we're trying
Dorn
to do.
could handle it.
Absolutely, and you could see, you got to the point where he's over there, it's just getting rid of the ball. If you get it, you get it there. If not, then okay, it's going to go down as a base hit anyway, but you go down, you sell out, and you just literally try to push the ball as close as you can to first base, and if he can reach it before he gets there, great. If not, you know, no harm, no foul.
Belo has set down 8 straight. 1-0 the count on Robinson, who walked back in the first inning. He's reached base all 6 plate appearances in this series. Strike taken there. Gonzalez helped out.
Yeah, and that's another one where you can see he's off the left shoulder of the hitter right there, and it's an outside pitch, so he's looking down that angle. So he tends to give those pitches a touch more than he will the ones that he's right over.
Now 1-2 to Trayvon. Belo threw just 11 pitches last inning, and this is only his 10th of this inning after dealing 31 in the first. Keeping himself and his club in the game. To Robinson, 1-2. Chopper handled to the third base side of the mound. Dwayne Belo helps himself out defensively here in the third inning as well. Nothing across for the Barnstormers. He's set down 9 in a row now. At the end of 3, still 2-0 Lancaster. Steve Johnson has allowed at least one base runner every inning. He hasn't been in terrible trouble. He holds the 2-0 lead as we go into the fourth, and Danny Dorn leading off.
What a drop in temperature in here too. The sun is starting to fade away, and
some clouds
you can see it
came our way, and
helping us out.
That helped out a bit. I think I said at one point last week that if I spun around very slowly in my chair, they could sell me for $5.99 at the local supermarket. Turn myself into a rotisserie chicken.
There you go.
With the heat lamp, man. It can get toasty in here. First pitch to Dorn in the fourth inning, taken for a strike. It is 0-1. So while Below started cold and has gotten hot, Johnson has sort of steadily worked through this game. 0-1 pitch on the ground to Hobson. KC will take it himself. And one thing that Johnson has done very well now, 4 innings in a row, is get the leadoff man. Hobson staggered slightly, but righted himself.
He's got the idea over there at first base. He's the kind of guy who he's a bear, and he'll just get in front of the ball, and he'll do what he can to block it. I remember before him we had Gabe Jacobo, and he was a fantastic defensive first baseman. He'd be the guy who could field it cleanly and get over there. Hobson's a guy who just, he'll make the play. He'll get there, and he'll do his job as a first baseman. He understands the running game in front of him, and he'll sit there and you feel comfortable with him going over and just being in front of the ball and being the guy who's going to be a wall.
Terdoslavich was pretty good, too.
Yeah.
As a first baseman, smooth fielder. You can look at the second baseman du jour, Carlos Garcia.
And we've had a good run of first basemen over there. Guys who can hit and know the position well.
1-1.
Talk about Jacobo. What a way to go out. His last professional swing was that home run.
That was like Denny Harriger back in 06. His last professional pitch won a championship.
Yeah. That's got to be a way to retire. Can't get any better than that, so you might as well just go out like that. What a great guy, too. He was a fantastic
Gabe
person.
Was great. Two balls, one strike. Johnson misses away to Massey, 3-1.
He's doing a great job of getting that first out of the inning, and it seems to be the second guy of the inning. Just as it provides a little bit of that trouble spot. So
3-1 to the number 5 hitter, fouled away. The count fills out 3-2. Designated hitter Kyle Roller waits on deck. Barnstormer's got a 2-run home run from Blake Galen in the first, and absolutely nothing since against Dwayne Below.
He has just settled in. He's looked a lot more comfortable within the zone, and after a 31 pitch first inning to be at 53 through 3 now is pretty impressive for him to go forward and give yourself a chance to now, if you have 4 more innings like that, you're looking at, you just got through 7. So,
and it'll help his club out for days on end.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a huge boon to your club when you can have a guy that. Ooh.
Ball 4 is inside. Massey gets the walk. Johnson issues his third. He'd walked only 13 in 37 innings coming into tonight. With 1 out, Kyle Roller to the plate. Roller struck out looking back in the second, and amazingly, that is Steve's only strikeout so far tonight.
Try to get that one in there a little bit too much, and sometimes there's
looked
just
like
that,
a ball hung up in his hand a little bit.
That little tick of when you hold on to it just that touch longer, it's so funny how baseball is such a game of inches. You hold on to it a split second longer, and it turns into 6 feet at the end.
To Roller, away for a ball, 1-0. Johnson having trouble throwing strikes consistently.
I don't know where that one was. I mean, maybe away, but for a guy this size, it wasn't up.
2-0.
You gotta have a mound visit here. If you're just go down, talk to him a little bit. This one for me has to come from the catcher. All right, you don't want to have a mound visit from.
It's still a mound visit.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Oh yeah. But even then, it's just it's for me. It doesn't need to be a huge. Okay, what's going on? Just something to go out there, calm him down a little bit, talk to him. I understand with all those rules, you kind of want to stay away for no reason, but this is This to me is not a no reason kind of situation. You got one out, guy on first, and good for him getting back in the zone here. If it's something where De La Rosa understands, you know what, just a minor little inconvenience, and I know my guy, and I'm going to let him work through it. So he knows him better than I do.
2-1. Throw to first base. Massey, who's 6 for 9 stealing, dives back in. Johnson gave up a 2-out walk in the first, a 1-out walk in the third, another 1-out walk here in the fourth. He's also allowed 2 singles. The set, and here's the 2-1 to Roller. Ball 3 missing. 3-1.
There's a game plan. He's going away, and you could see when he misses away, then he tries to come back in. That's when you saw him just that ball kind of hang up there in his hand a little bit, and he pulled it a little. So you get in that mode where you're just trying to force your pitches into spots now.
Ground ball, pulled foul. We go to another 3-ball and 2-strike count.
If he's confident in this situation, I can't tell you that he is, just based on the fact that he's been missing with some of those outside fastballs, but he's got such a good changeup. To me, this is where you can just let that changeup float over the middle and float away. Start it over the middle and let it float away, and just take an over-aggressive left-handed hitter and hopefully get a ground ball.
Massey leads off first, could be going here at 3-2, and the throw goes over there. He dives back in.
Sometimes with guys who are struggling with fastball command, so we see a nice little angle there.
That's right where you want the pickoff throw.
Yeah. And again, you're really not trying to get an out there. You're trying to keep him close, especially on a 3-2 count in a situation where a guy might go. You want to be able to get a double play, so you're just trying to keep him close.
Johnson will go to work. Runner takes off. The pitch is swung at and hit high to center field. Sanford didn't see it off the bat. Darian gets back. He is there to make the catch. And a long way back to first base. Got a chance to turn 2, and they will. Massey didn't pick it up either.
There's some confusion. Yeah, he just kind of hung around second base. I don't know if he didn't know if he tugged second base and wanted to go back and do it again, but we'll have to take a look at that again and see what happened.
Played interesting both ways. Sanford didn't see it off the bat. Recovered, made the catch. Massey didn't see that Sanford caught it. And he hung around second way too long.
That's a beauty shot.
A tremendous night here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. We've got a great ball game in progress.
That is not.
There we are. He's Pete. I'm Dave. And we got the bottom half of the fourth
still
inning going
squinting.
on.
We're still a little bit of squinting going on here, and another, I'd say another 15
this
minutes.
half
right?
inning anyway.
Yeah, another 15 minutes and we're good.
This half inning anyway. Well, here's Hobson. Ball is low, 1-0. When we have a chance, we'll study that final play in the top of the inning once again. 2-0 to KC.
Let's take a look here, yeah.
This is the base runner, Craig Massey.
And he's doing what you're supposed to do.
Sanford, he pulls up, he watches the play, and then
this point where
he
you don't need
touches second. He goes back, touches second again, like he's tagging up to go the other way. Hobson rips a foul down the right side. It's 2-1.
It's what you're taught to do. You're taught to get a step. If you need to, you don't. I mean, he's still on the correct side of the bank, so you could just go back. But even that run back, he might not have thought that they were getting the ball in so quickly. And credit to Frias, just he picked it up and said, "Okay, here you go." Because we saw out there, Sanford got it and got it in pretty listfully, and just to get it back into the infield. And Frias, I don't know if
was alerted to the chance.
Yeah, I don't know if we got a second baseman out there who's on top of it too, or if somebody's telling him, but he got it and fired it in, and quite a pick by Hobson too.
2-2, ground ball pulled foul. You've seen one sharp foul ball on this at bat. This is the unfortunate rhythm Casey's in right now, and he'll find a way out of it. But every ball he hits hard, he's yanking foul down the right field line.
Yeah, it's
the timing's just not there.
Exactly. There you go. You took it out of my mouth. But a lot of that is timing for a hitter, and it comes.
Belo's 2-2, missing low, full count.
Going back to that last play of the last inning, it's when you can sneak outs like that, when you can take free outs that get guys off the base, it's. I mean, that's a huge. You have no idea how many pitches that saves because...
Strike 3 called at the knees. Hobson goes down looking. 10th straight out for Dwayne Belo. Boy, has he gotten into a groove after a really rough start.
Credit to him again for just going in there, recomposing himself after that first inning, and just coming out and being a completely different pitcher. But... like we said, that you don't know how many pitches that takes out of somebody's arm because you don't know what would have happened after that. But you're at least taking some, and the more you can save in a game like this, and the deeper that you can get your starting pitcher, obviously the better it bodes for your bullpen and your staff in general.
1-0 to Desmay. He grounded out his first time up.
Oh, he's done a great job, Belo has, of the last...
ripped foul. Almost took Ross with it.
Last 4 innings, 3 or so innings, just attacking the zone and being a different guy. And every ball that's been hit hard since that first inning has been foul.
It's been a foul ball.
So he's doing a great job of being able to spot pitches up, and he's going to go right back in there and see if he can do it again.
Desmay bats 2-1.
That's when you can tell the mark of a confident pitcher is when you get hit really hard foul, to be able to go right back in that spot, because a lot of guys tend to see that and say, okay, the hitter just missed, but it's a good spot. It's a really good spot to get in because there's not a lot you can do with it. As you see, it's the same thing. He's working that little cutter away and keeping guys just guessing. So guys who aren't as confident in their stuff will tend to go away the next pitch or go to a different spot. But if you're confident in your ability to get in there, then it's not that the hitter's doing something. He's getting a good piece of the ball, but it's on your terms. So it's just a mark of a guy who's just confident for the last 3 innings. There you go.
Jam shot popped up. First base line. Dorn is there. 2 outs. And Nate Coronado will come to the plate. 11 in a row. Retired by Belo, and it's been an assortment. 2 strikeouts, 4 flyouts to the outfield, 4 groundouts, and that foul pop up to first. So there's no pattern. It's not like we saw with New Britain last week where the outfielders had 16 putouts in a game.
Oh, wow.
He's really mixed it up. Here's Coronado. He flied to center for the final out in the first inning. Belo is away. It is ball 1. A few more pitches for him this inning, but still nothing terrible. Off speed and a dandy. Swing and a miss.
He seems a lot more comfortable throwing his mix and his arsenal than he was in the first inning. There were some ones that he threw in the first inning that just didn't land for him, and it let guys get comfortable. Now you see him just really being able to mix well and go. He's going to that inside corner a lot against these right-handers, and you saw him do that with Desmay. Even when he hit the ball hard, it was right back in it, because he knew that he can get in there, and eventually broke his bat and popped him up to the foul side of first base.
Coronado ahead in the count, 2-1. Below back to work. That's buried in the zone, 2-2. He's mixed everything up very well here. He has kept the Barnstormers totally off balance since the walk to Robinson. And again, the 3 outs in the first inning were fairly deep counts. Since then, shorter counts until this one. Just got a piece to Coronado.
In and out, in and out, in and out, changing speeds. Your whole job as a pitcher is to disrupt timing and rhythm and disrupt comfortability at the plate. And after that first inning, he has been doing a spectacular job of doing that.
Here comes another 2-2, and again, tapped foul. Coronado keeps his turn going.
Very least, you just keep extending the at-bat and gets the next guy up, and it's a big spot, so they have to take him out and put in a reliever.
Filling the count, 3. And that again can have an effect in the 6th or 7th inning. To Coronado, the 3-2 is on the way, and Nate will elevate this to right, not terribly deep. Chavez is there. The Barnstormers being kept off balance by Dwayne Below since the Galen home run, and we go to the 5th inning, still 2-0 Lancaster. We've got a close one tonight as the Barnstormers struck early and have been frozen since then. Steve Johnson has been able to stay out of deep trouble. A couple of double plays helping out, including that bizarre one in the 4th inning. As a matter of fact, both double plays have been a little bit strange. The tapper out in front of the plate by Francoso in the 2nd inning, and he didn't break out of the batter's box right away, so it was easy for De La Rosa to get started. And then the fly ball double play last inning where Craig Massey just got stuck hanging around second base way too long.
One went 3 inches, the other went 380 feet.
Jovan Gonzalez, the batter, a persistent thorn in the side of the Barnstormers and generally to right field. Pitch missing, ball 1. Gonzalez single to right field his first time up tonight. He's 5 for 14 in the season series.
It's a good opening pitch. No, it's a ball, but it's a good spot.
Strike here. It's 1-1. 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Patriots in the 5th inning. Meanwhile, Sugar Land is up 2-1 over Long Island. They're in the top of the 5th inning at Bethpage Ballpark tonight. Breaks down and away, 2-1. Johnson really has not been able to get the ball in the strike zone with the regularity he would like tonight, especially the breaking pitches.
Yeah, I haven't seen many breaking balls for a strike. So
he is low for ball 3. And something he hasn't done is allowed the leadoff batter to reach base in an inning, and that keeps you out of a lot of danger. But now he's 3-1 on Gonzalez, starting off here in the 5th. That is ball 4.
And I don't know. I mean, he's got a home plate umpire's got to be saying those are low, but I tend to disagree there. It's close maybe, but that's.
Francoso steps in. He has bounced into that quirky double play out in front of the plate. Gonzalez, not a fast guy, but he's on with the leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. With that alone, Somerset the biggest threat it's had in the ball game, just having the leadoff man on. They got 2 guys on in the 1st, but with 2 outs. Johnson will come to the set. Francoso looks at a strike.
We've seen just an inability to get ahead in the count and stay ahead in the count. He gets to that 0-1, then 1-1, and then it kind of that 1-1 pitch is his crucial pitch where he tends to be missing this game more, and he's working his way out of it. Credit to him. He's working his way out of those pitches, but right now when you get to this count, he's got to start winning more 1-1 counts to be a little more confident going forward.
And Somerset is content to wait him out here. Infield set, double play depth. Francoso does run pretty well. Here's the 1-1, and it's low. And as you said, that 1-1 pitch seems to tip the scales time and time again.
Yeah, you get a hitter back into a hitter's count, where now they feel more comfortable, and you are, again, you're working uphill. So you're constantly pushing that rock, and when you get to that 1-1 count, now you got to go back uphill again. So you'd rather.
2-1 line drive. That's into right center field. Sanford hustles over to cut it off, and Gonzalez will hang around second base. At Francoso, a solid base hit. Somerset really in business now in the 5th inning. Justin Pacioli will come to the plate. Good chance he's going to bunt here. Clean base hit off the 2-1 pitch. Fortunately for the Barnstormers, not a fast lead runner. Guys would be at the corners.
Yeah, so we've the 5th inning and not a ton of offense that have been. It's again no runs on the board, but it hasn't been a clean inning. So not a lot of offense going. So this is kind of one where you expect a bunt, but do you also sit there and do you give him one pitch to either, or do you give him a strike to work with?
He squares around, draws it back, and ball 1 is inside.
No, if that's a strike, he's probably bunting. I don't think that that Somerset in that situation was going to have him pull back and take a strike. But with Johnson not being in the zone like he'd want, to me, I'd give him one.
Here's the 1-0. He has to pull back as Johnson runs the pitch up and in. Now it's 2-0. And you're starting to go down a path toward a bases loaded situation for the top of the order. Almost hit him there.
Which is tough because you've gone through 4 innings, and again you've kind of worked your way through 4 innings. Nothing stellar, but you've gotten out of these jams. So this 2-0 pitch is something where you've got to be in the zone. I'm looking to check if he offered it that one.
Yeah, I didn't.
It surprised me a little bit. You get 3-0, and this is where you might want to open him up and just let him hit.
Here's a 2
out of Ross.
Hey, you got the top of the order coming up. The possibility of the bases loaded,
and he's not
and nobody out.
Yeah, and he's not at a ton of pitches, but you don't want to. It doesn't matter pitch wise. You don't want to let it get away from you. So getting back in the zone, 3-1 now. As a manager now for Somerset, you probably put the bunt back on with the directive of it's got to be a perfect strike.
It's gotta be a strike.
Yeah, absolutely. So
here's a 3-1. It is a bunt picked up by De La Rosa.
What a
He'll go to
play.
third, get the lead man.
What
2-5 on the force play. That is huge. Now it's first and second with one out. A great recovery by the Barnstormers, at least the start of a recovery here in the fifth inning.
wow. I mean, that's it, again. We've talked about baseball just being such a game of inches. If that ball is 6 inches further, he can't get a grip and throw, and we can see he's not able to make that throw. He's got to go to first, and now you're talking about second and third with one out. That could be legitimately an inning-saving and game-saving play, and something where now you can work your way and you can get Johnson a win if he can get out of this inning.
You got the double play still in order.
Yeah.
First and second with one out.
That's a definition of being a
The
field
batter is
general.
Bourbon. That is line to right field. Up with it in a hurry is Galen. They're going to wave Gonzalez. The relay throw home will be late. Other runners to first and third. Bourbon, a line single into right field. That was Francoso coming around, hit at Ben Gonzalez. I don't think he would have scored. They would have held him. And now on to third goes Paccioli. First and third with one out. Ross Peoples coming to the mound as this is a one-run game, and that tying run is at third base. Galen came up with it quickly, hit the cutoff man. That throw wasn't going to be able to get through in time, I don't believe. Tag attempt by De La Rosa is late. Andy Chavez, the batter, he's hit the ball well both times tonight. Somerset very much alive in this ball game. They've got a chance to take it over now. And the credit goes to Bilo for turning his night around after giving up the 2 runs on the first 2 batters.
I mean, even with a good throw, I don't think he's going to get him there. That ball was hit well. He runs well. And again, like you said, if it's Gonzalez, you probably got a shot. Yeah. But, you're playing back closer to the wall with that lefty up, and it was a scorcher, so.
Andy Chavez will bat with Paccioli at third and Bourbon at first. They could send the runner from first base. I'm sure that was part of the discussion at the mound. Johnson will deal home. Slap foul past third. 0-1. The Barnstormers badly need a double play here. Or a strikeout or pop-up, something like that. Troublesome inning for Steve Johnson. He gave up 2 runs in the fifth in his last start, but came out with a 5-3 lead there.
We'll see that decision to go to third and get that lead out is looming large right now, because if that doesn't happen, we're at second and third. Ooh.
0-1, high fly ball left field, carrying back goes Robinson. It's over his head and out to the wall. This will score Paccioli. Bourbon is being waved. He will come home too. Chavez doubles home a pair. And for the second night in a row, Andy Chavez with a big blow in the fifth inning has given Somerset the lead. A 2-run double as Somerset has now put 3 on the board here in the fifth inning and taken a 3-2 lead. And if Bilo continues to pitch the way he has been, that's almost a commanding lead.
So I got to believe this is probably going to be his last batter. We've got a lefty on deck, and it looks to be a lefty down in the bullpen.
Hit in the air center field, charging in Sanford. Darian will not be able to get there. He has to take it on a bounce, and it's runners at first and third.
I would assume we got a pitching change coming up.
4 hits and a walk in the inning. 3-2, men at the corners, 1 out. Danny Dorn stepping in. And John Anderson loosening up in the Barnstormers bullpen.
The only reason we don't make a change here is if he's not yet ready. So, and he looks to be. He doesn't have any sense of urgency getting the ball back, or maybe it was just I can't tell from this angle, maybe it was thrown away, but he looks to be ready. So we'll have to see. You might see a pickoff attempt here to try to buy some time. You might see 2. If that's the end goal, is to get that left-on-left matchup right now, then you'd want to see a pickoff attempt.
Johnson to the plate. Dorn looks at a ball low. It's 1-0. 5 out of 6 batters have reached base here in the fifth inning. 3 have scored. Runners are at the corners.
This is one of those ones where you don't want to look back and question it, but you got a right on left matchup with a lefty in the bullpen. Like I said, the only reason I can think of that you don't go to the lefty in this situation is that he must not be ready. But you really don't want to let this one get away from you. You don't want to have to put a reliever in a spot where it's bases loaded, one out against a team that feels comfortable, and he just is not.
That pitch gets away, and in comes the fourth run of the inning. Chavez scores, and Rodriguez goes to second. 3-0. The count on Dorn. Another left-handed batter is on deck, and Massey, and then Roller yet another. So Anderson likely to be coming in at some point here. But a 4-run inning already for Somerset.
And as much as you don't want to say it, this inning has kind of been boiling up for the last 3 or 4. I mean, those first 4 were just kind of muddled
They were
through.
tenuous.
Yeah.
And a couple of breaks and sort of cheap double plays. Here comes Ross. That will be it, I have to think, for Steve Johnson. It's got to be it. This is the second visit of the inning. Johnson got 1 out. That was on the bunt. A good play made by De La Rosa off of that. But 4 hits and 2 walks in the inning, and I don't think Ross saw an end in sight. That'll be it for Steve Johnson. Craig Massey will be facing Johnny Anderson. And with the pitching change in the works, we're going to take a break and pause for these messages. First baseman Casey Hobson, but more importantly, John Anderson coming on in relief in the 5th inning. And Anderson's that versatile relief pitcher. You don't know when you're going to see him in a game. It could be anywhere from the 5th inning to extra innings. He can go long. He can come in and face just 1 or 2 batters. And for the most part, he has really gotten the job done last year, and I think even more so this season. No record in 16 appearances, a 2.2 ERA. But it was Somerset that has done the biggest harm to him. Gave up 2 walks and a 3-run homer with a big lead here back in late May. Right now, he's got to keep this game close.
Like you mentioned, he's just one of those guys. He's got just power arm, good starter stuff, great breaking balls you see on that opening pitch. And he just has to get in the zone, get a hitter off balance, and get out of this inning. So it's a tough situation to come into, especially when you have a team that's put up 4 and they're comfortable throughout this inning, and they haven't looked off balance and uncomfortable throughout the game. So
these 2 runners belong to Johnson, who goes 4 1/3 tonight, yielding 6 hits and 5 walks along the way. He struck out 1. Anderson comes back 0-1 to Massey. Ground ball right side. Garcia can't get there. Another base hit. Here comes Rodriguez, and he'll hold up at third. Massey with a single, and now the bases are loaded for Kyle Roller. And Somerset with an opportunity to really put a big hurt on the Barnstormers in this game. That is 7 batters out of 8 that have reached base in this 5th inning. That's a ground ball. If it's hit a couple feet more toward the second baseman, it might be a double play. It's gone walk, single, bunt into a force out, single, double, single, walk, single.
Not something you want to hear unless you're hitting.
Kyle Roller has struck out and flied into a bizarre double play. 1 out, bases loaded. Anderson to the plate, and he's way off the inside corner. Ball 1, no strikes. And still just 1 out here.
So we've worked our way into a beautiful night. Just a very ugly inning. Just trying to find a silver lining here.
That's inside, 2-0.
Yeah, there's really not a lot to say. I mean, you get a guy in here, and he got the ground ball you wanted. It's just you're shifted over a couple feet, and it's just things aren't going your way this inning. And like we said, it's kind of been boiling for the last.
That's a called strike to Roller. Now 2-1. Anderson, at this point, you take it out any way you can get it just to try and cool him off. Even if it scores another run, you don't want to give up another run, but you got to start getting outs before this game gets out of control.
You got to stop the bleeding and just control the damage right now, minimize the damage, and
now 3-1.
Not the spot of the order that you really want to get too deep in the count with and let guys get comfortable, especially when you've got bases loaded and they've already put up a 4 spot.
A walk would force in another run. Anderson back to work. Here's a 3-1. Ground ball shortstop, could be 2 to Garcia. 1 back to first, and they turn it. John Anderson getting another double play to get the Barnstormers out of trouble. He did it the other night at Long Island as well. It is, however, a 4-run inning on 5 hits with no errors and 2 left. The Barnstormers at least get to stay close. It's 4-2 through 4.5. The deeper hues of a later twilight at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Somerset up 4-2 after a 9-batter top half of the 5th inning. But did that disrupt the rhythm of Dwayne Bilo? Barnstormers with Frias, De La Rosa, and Garcia scheduled in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bilo roughed up by the first 2 batters of the night, then gave up a walk, and he's retired 12 in a row since. Frias gets the ball low. It's a promising start anyway. 1-0.
Yeah, there's times when, as a starting pitcher or any pitcher, I remember, for me at least, I didn't like to sit in between innings and deal with a lot of runs being scored. But again, it's different when you're down 2 to up 2. You'd rather those 4 runs be scored.
Frias fouls one off, 1-1. The Barnstormers have not hit a ball hard and fair since the Galen home run.
It's just a very good job of keeping hitters off balance. After those first 2 hitters of the game, 3 hitters of the game, Trayvon got on with that walk. But he's just looked like a different pitcher.
1-1 offering right there at the knees. It is 1-2, and no sign now of any disturbance by the long top half of the 5th inning.
And that's the one that Johnson didn't get last inning. He didn't get that low strike 2 times in a row, and we saw right there that below. He did. He was looking for a below the zone joke, but I think I just made it.
Or Belo's Velo or something. We're trying it all. 2-2 to Frias. Ground ball sharply hit, but Rodriguez will be there. He'll flip across. That's out number 1. 13 in a row retired.
Catcher Anderson De La Rosa.
Nothing fancy about it. Velo now has thrown 76 pitches officially. Smooth play by Rodriguez. And it looked like the first baseman, Dorn, may have still been bothered a little bit by the sun. He just kind of flinched at the last second there.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like it would be possible, but
you think it might be the white on the scoreboard too.
That's
that
possible.
video board
yeah,
out
that's
there,
possible as well.
Ball goes in and out of that. That can give you a little bit of trepidation.
1-0 to De La Rosa. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Somerset leading by 2. The Patriots were up 5-2 at this stage last night. De La Rosa smokes that down the third base line. That will break him out of his slump. He'll head to second base and will be in with a double. 5th double of the season for Anderson De La Rosa. He stands at second base. Carlos Garcia will come to the plate. Now, if the Barnstormers can pick this run up, they're in the game. That ball sizzled.
Absolutely. He did a very good job. Belo's been trying to get in in that inner half to those right-handed batters, and we've seen they've hit the ball hard, but he's gotten that ball in so deep on their hands that they haven't made an adjustment. So you see De La Rosa did a really good job of getting his hands out, getting him out in front of the plate, and keeping that ball fair, and it was 6 inches to the third baseman's right-hand side, and you got a guy in scoring position.
It's got to feel so good for De La Rosa. It is his first hit in the month of June.
Really?
He spent some time on the shelf, but he had been 0 for 21 in the month.
Ooh.
0 for 22 if you add tonight. There's a called strike on Garcia, line to center, back in the second. You get this run home, it's a 1-run game, and can go either way.
Yeah, this is the next 2 guys coming up, or hopefully it's more than that, but you know, these are game-changing at-bats right here. Where this is one where you really kind of have to play for this run just to change that tempo and to get something back after giving up a 4-run inning. So even if you do just get that 1 run, it feels like so much more because you've kind of stopped the momentum coming through, and you've forced Belo to now become a pitcher again and get out of his rhythm and his tempo.
A ball and a strike. De La Rosa leads off second. The pitch cut on and missed. 1-2. Belo has thrown a very, very strong ball game.
Tried to get 2 runs back with that swing. Yeah, and you just said that he's thrown a really strong ball game, and that's even with those first 3 hitters of the game. You take those out, and he's thrown a superb baseball game. But after those first 3, you're sitting here, hey, pretty easy game, you know. We just keep tacking on runs like this. But to credit to him, he sat down, got himself composed.
1-2, cut on and missed. Garcia goes down. Now this inning is up to Sanford. And that was a pretty quick strikeout for Belo. 2 outs. De La Rosa still at second. Sanford has reached on an infield base hit, and he's flied to center.
Again, there's just a wealth of positive things that you keep wanting to say about Belo. The fact that he's taken this game and from the outset, it kind of looked like things aren't going to go his way, but after those first 3 hitters, he's just controlled the game. And there's no other way to put it. He's controlled the baseball game.
Fly ball foul by Sanford down a strike. It's 0-1. Avila's been to the major leagues with Detroit. He is a native Michigander. And also Miami. 43 appearances. He started 3 at the big league level. 32 years of age from Britain, Michigan. 6'3", 210-pounder. And working on pinning Anderson De La Rosa at second base. He's there with 2 outs. Sanford bats 0-1. And a strike at the knees. He's just worked the zone so brilliantly. But the pitch count is into the middle 80s, so you figure maybe a 6th inning. The Barnstormers will hope to get the Patriots caught in transition at some point.
And think about that. 31 pitches in the first inning, and you're talking now about getting him through 6, which is a huge win.
Swing and a foul tip. Sanford goes down. Velo keeps control of the game. The double by De La Rosa, but that's it in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-2 Somerset through 5.
Attention, the winners of the Fashion Plus giveaway are Cheryl Thompson, Greg Lance, and Nicole Yoder.
Later twilight at Clipper Magazine Stadium. We're just about at the summer solstice. Summer will be kicking in within the next day or 2, I suppose. I haven't heard the exact date and time.
So summer hasn't set yet?
It hasn't set, yes.
There we
Rim
go.
shot.
They're
looking forward to summer. Time at the ballpark, time at the beach.
Looks like time at the railroad station out there.
Absolutely.
Strasburg Railroad. You ever been to that train museum?
I have not.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really cool. Like, I'm not a huge train fan, but it is really neat.
More or less come to town here and I get totally consumed with Barnstormers baseball. It's like, what? There's life outside of this? I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
John Anderson, first pitch. A little bit in too close on Jovan Gonzalez, who picked up a walk leading off last inning and eventually was forced at third, but that triggered the 4-run outburst by Somerset.
This has got to be a quick inning if you really want to. It's a great breaking ball. Just being able to flip that breaking ball in, and that's the one where you see if you get to 2 strikes, that breaking ball becomes so much different. That's a 1-0 breaking ball. You're confident you can throw it for a strike. If you get to 1-2, that breaking ball you can see is going to have a lot more depth. So if he goes back to that pitch as he just painted that outside corner to a righty there, to Gonzalez, if you want to throw that breaking ball, I think you're going to see a lot more depth, and it's going to be either working away at that same spot and trying to get it to hit that backside, or you're going to go back foot. So it just depends. I think he's got to have a good amount of confidence in that fastball he just threw, because it's tailing away, it's right there, or you just got to bury that breaking ball back foot.
1-2. Chopper toward third. Hustling in Coronado. He's getting better over there. Fires across. That's one out. Nice play. Coronado working daily with Josh Bell. And Anderson De La Rosa on the footwork at third.
That's a tough one because you're not sure if it's going to take that extra little kick hop there, or do you kind of have to stay back and play that with your back foot drop step. But we saw Anderson there that we talked about, that initial breaking ball, get in the zone, and then bury that one right there. And you saw, I don't want to say De La Rosa, but what's his name? Why did I just lose that? Gonzalez. I played with him too. You saw him kind of lunge out and just front foot dive at that power breaking ball. So good sequence of pitches for me there.
Francoso has bounced into a double play. Singleton scored. Anderson's 1-0 pitch. Good looking fastball again. 1-1.
Sometimes we saw him feign bunt there, but a lot of times guys will do that as left-handed hitters because all you're really trying to do there is move that third baseman in 1 or 2 steps, because now it limits his ability to step in a dive in a greater radius.
Second strike, 1-2. Anderson has not allowed a run since Alex Castellanos, who was on the DL for the Patriots, got to him for a 3-run homer back on May 30th. And that was the first 3 batters he faced, and then John got 3 straight outs there, and he's gone 8 innings since that appearance without allowing a run.
Sounds eerily similar to another left-hander in this baseball game. His first 3 batters would be low, and then he's just run through that lineup. Not quite 8 innings, and hopefully not 8 innings, but it's just sometimes it takes something like that to happen that just kind of it makes you mad, and you just lock in and you get after it. So I know it was always home runs for me. If I give up a home run, that's
towards shortstop. Frias will be there. 2 outs. Anderson usually a big walk, big strikeout guy, but we're not seeing that tonight at all. He's getting the ground balls. That's a pretty good rhythm for him to be in, because if you're the Barnstormers, you want to get back to the plate fairly quickly. You want Anderson maybe to be able to cover some innings here.
Yeah, you want quick outs. And I think he understands that at this point, where it's you want to get back in, like you just said, you want to get back in the dugout so he doesn't have to be that power guy where it's, okay, miss this, miss this, miss this. It's just he's shown a really good ability to throw that breaking ball in the zone and try to get early swings, like you see right there. A little cutter in on the hands, and you're seeing early count swings. And again, he's working on an aggressive-natured team that just scored 4, and they want to come out and put up more runs. So for him to be able to be in the zone with all his pitches and then feature 2 different kinds of breaking balls, he's definitely doing his job as well as he can at this point, and exactly what he's being asked to do.
Blew that one by him.
And a little bit of velo, yeah.
0-2. Anderson grew up in Northern California. Last year, his buddy from high school, Brad Bergeson, was here with him. Brad was 3 years ahead of him in Pleasanton, California. Brad's gone on to coaching in the Phillies organization with the Lakewood Blue Claws.
It's a great stadium, too. That's a strike.
Just missed.
Oh, boy. I have some fond memories. The bullpen in Lakewood is very close to their picnic area. And I can still remember I had some of the best chicken and cookies down there. I like to talk, obviously. So if there's fans there, I'd always sit there and talk to their kids or talk to them. And I remember
2-2.
I remember just sitting down there, striking up some conversations, and the next thing you know, they're like, "You want some dinner?" And sure, why not? Watermelon, chicken, cookies, fireworks. I don't even know if I pitched, but I remember the food.
The life. When they talk about living the dream, that's actually that's actually the picture of it.
Yeah, you got it.
2-2, 2 outs. Anderson to
There
Paccioli.
it
See
is.
you later. Strike 3 called. 1-2-3 inning for Anderson. Nothing across. The Barnstormers will get their turn in the 6th inning next, still trailing by 2. Not a lot to cheer about for Barnstormers fans since the first inning. Somerset taking the lead in this ball game in the top of the 5th, and Dwayne Belo has just been magnificent since an early Barnstormer hitting spree. First pitch to Blake Galen, lined into right field. He's got a base hit. Galen knows what to do. 4th Barnstormers hit of the night. Blake had the 2-run homer back in the first inning. Man, he is on a hot streak. Squaring up another one is Galen. Not enough to drive it out of the yard, just enough to reach base to start off a possible rally here in the 6th inning.
We've talked about the fact that getting that first out of the inning is so important. And even though Johnson had struggled, losing my mind here, even though Johnson had struggled through those first 4 innings, what he did do was get the first out of the inning. And we saw once he got into that 5th inning, that's when and even though we got that lead runner at third base, he didn't get the first out of the inning, and it just kind of sets you behind your game plan. So hopefully that same kind of result happens for us here, but it's such a different feel when you don't get that first guy, because now you have to get 3 outs from the stretch, which, you know, He's works from the stretch the entire time, but it's just a different feel because you have a guy on base, and now a base hit to right field means you got probably first and third.
Robinson bats 1-1 against Belo. Trayvon is 0 for 1 with a walk here tonight. Hitting .255, right-handed this year is Robinson. He's been a much better hitter left-handed. Galen looked like he was itching to go. Got a softer throw over there from Belo, not the number 1 move. Blake has stolen 6. Lancaster held without a stolen base so far tonight. That's a rarity.
Less of Blake's steals are sheer speed. He's just a very good base runner. And that's not to say he's not fast, but
he's not as fast as he was.
No, not. I mean, and he'll admit that, but he is a guy who just understands the game, understands the count, knows the situation, and he's a very smart base runner. So when he gets steals, it's usually you're probably not getting a throw because he's read the count, the situation, and the pitch so well that he knows when to go.
Another throw, he's back standing.
And this is what we saw when Sanford was on first base, that it just kind of alters your rhythm and your tempo. And you hear me say rhythm and tempo a lot because as a pitcher, rhythm and tempo is what makes up the flow of the game for you. And if you can get into the flow of the game, it's so much easier to do. Once that is broken, it's hard to get back.
Robinson drives one out the right field. Did he get enough? Chavez angling over. The answer, no. Andy Chavez there to make the play. Last night, that one may have gone, but the air currents are very different here tonight. Now, Robinson, just with a routine fly ball to right field, hit maybe 275 feet. But anytime it approaches the wall, you think you have a chance. And Chavez not even to the track.
Yeah, you could see it was just that, and he knew it. It was just that little, that end of the bat a little bit where he reached out and kind of flicked it out there, where if he gets his weight behind it a little bit more, then we're looking at a 4-4 ball game here.
J.C. Hobson, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Below to the plate. Hobson spins a foul.
I see a good at-bat coming from. I know he's down 0-1, but I see a good at-bat. I got a good feeling here. Good at-bat coming.
90th pitch for the left-hander Below here tonight. He was out of the bullpen last year for Somerset. They made him a starter this year. Pop fly out the left, curling away from Pacioli, who will try to chase it down, but it's foul and ultimately unreachable. 2 strikes to Hobson. Desmay scheduled to follow. The Barnstormers trying to find their offense that produced 13 runs here last night and 2 in the first inning tonight. Lancaster had scored 15 runs in a span of 6 innings, but now they've been shut down by Below.
And like you said, this is what, 91st pitch of the night now?
Yeah,
it
officially.
Seems like he's just getting,
92nd.
92nd. He seems like he's getting stronger.
To Hobson, popped up again.
You can tell.
Fading back is Massey, the third baseman, onto the grass. He's got it. Now it's up to Desmay with 2 outs and a runner at first. Lancaster hasn't been able to build the inning off the Galen single as Below just continues to get outs. And like I said earlier, there's been no pattern.
No.
To outs. It's not like there's been a rhythm. Everybody's grounding out, or he's dominating and getting all these strikeouts, or everybody's popping the ball up. It's been a complete mix.
Which makes it kind of tough to attack when you're a hitter, because even the information that you're getting from guys who are just leaving, who just got out, it doesn't necessarily pertain to you. So, hey, I'm seeing inside fastballs, or seeing cutters down and away. You go up there with that plan, and then it's completely different. So he's mixed his pitches, he's hit his spots, and just done a masterful job for these last 5 complete innings, really. And
very interested in Galen, though. He is yet to throw a pitch to Desmay this go around. Grant's grounded to third and fouled to first. And yet another throw. This almost seems puzzling.
Maybe they know each other. How many times can I go over? I got a running bet here with him. But yeah, there's 2 outs, and he knows that Galen's a good base runner.
Desmay grounds this to third. Good backhanded stop by Massey, and that will end at 1 pitch. Desmay grounds out, and now you've got a chance to get Below out there for his 7th inning. After the leadoff base hit in the 6th, the inning goes in a hurry. We're through 6. It's 4-2 Somerset. We're at the exact same point of the game that they are at Long Island, and in both cases, the visiting team is up by a 4-2 score. Well, what that means is if neither score changes, the Barnstormers' lead in the division would be cut back to 2. One of these years, one of these halves, can it please be easy?
No, that wouldn't be fun.
Barnstormers haven't won a division title going away, really, except for the first half in 2012. And ultimately, down the stretch, the second half in 15. We won that with about 4 games to go. Both halves last year, right down to the wire, and both going the wrong way. It's hard in a split season schedule to play 139 games that matter.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That was last year. Huáscar Brazoban now in for the Barnstormers. First pitch was fouled back. 1 strike on Julio Borbon. He singled in the first Somerset run in the 4-run 5th inning.
There's benefits to having a split schedule. Obviously, the benefit is if you win that first half, you can kind of set up what you're going for in the playoffs, and you could set up who's getting innings and who's doing all this and that and the other. But the tough part about that then as well is if you do win the first half, obviously you know you made the playoffs, which is great, but being able to kind of turn it off and on and start playing meaningful games then for the last month where it's okay, you got to get into playoff mode. So
I haven't really seen a trend over the years. First half winner, second half winner. It's almost like a roll of the dice once you get to the postseason.
Yeah, and I think teams in this league do a really good job of not having that mentality where it's like, oh, we won the first half, we're just going to play. Guys are going to get massive amounts of rest. I mean, if you're in this league, you're in this league to get out of the league, to be honest. So you don't want to have that massive amount of rest, and you're not. No offense to the league or anybody in the league, but you're not playing to win a championship. You're playing to get out of the league. Once you get later in the season, your goal then does become to win it. It is to win that championship, but you're still hoping that you have eyes on you, and you don't want to sit there and you don't want the rest because you want to be able to, even if it's for the postseason, you want to be able to go and have somebody see you. So I think that's where this league is really good because you're not going to come out and not see somebody's best effort.
3-1, line to right field and down in front of Galen for a leadoff base hit. Borbon, one of the hotter hitters on this Somerset ball club, reaching base for the 3rd time in the game. Endy Chavez will come to the plate. Endy's had 6 runs batted in this series so far. That was a screamer, 1 hop out to Galen. Brazoban has done well as a Barnstormer. This is his 8th outing. He hasn't given up an earned run. That was the 7th hit he's allowed in 7 1/3 innings. Only 1 for extra bases. He's walked 2, struck out 7. Lanky right-hander from Villa Maya in the Dominican Republic. He'll go to first base, and Borbon is back in. Barnstormers, I don't think, can afford to give up anything else, but we'll see. Lob toss over. Borbon has stolen a base tonight already. He has 12. Well, Sugarland is up 4-2 on Long Island in the 7th inning. Lancaster picked up a game in the race last night. We know it's going down to that 7-game series next week. It's just a question of where the teams are sitting going in. The bigger lead that the Barnstormers would have going into that series, the fewer games they need to win in that series.
So with a total of what? We have 129 games, 126? 126. So we're at 46 now. Oh, yeah. I mean, when you have
third of the waypoint.
When you have a 7-game stretch with somebody who's right there, it's such a huge. A 5-2 by anybody is a huge jump.
That would probably win it.
Yeah, you got to imagine that anybody, if somebody goes 5-2 there, you definitely think that should give you the extension on your in the wins and loss column.
I mean, if the Barnstormers can go there leading by 3.5, and they're up by 3 coming into tonight, there's a half a game difference this week.
Yeah, then
we play Thursday. Sugarland doesn't. You win there 3.5. You go 2-5. You still got a half-game lead coming out. Barnstormers will be back home. Sugar Land will go on the road. 2-1 now from Brazoban to Chavez.
So the goal, I mean, especially the goal on any road trip is to play 500, play one game above 500. It's, you know, you obviously want to win as many games as you can, but you go in there just trying to win the series. If you can win the series in any fashion, then you're doing your job. But when we're talking about a 7-game series in the heat, down in you know, we're 1,000 miles away, so and you're talking about a team that's right behind you in the standings. There's a lot at stake there.
Well, if the Barnstormers win that series, they have the tiebreaker too, and it will make it awfully tough on Sugar Land. If Lancaster takes 4 out of 7, they're going to be in great shape. Lined out the left field, and a base hit now for Chavez. He's hit the ball well all night long, and realistically all series long. 9 hits for the Patriots. Alfredo Rodriguez will bat with runners at first and second here against Brazoban. We're going to have Ross Peoples paying a mound visit. Now you run the risk of having this game get away from you in the 7th inning.
And we've seen sharp line drive to right, sharp line drive to left. You got your number 3 man up in the lineup. You're not thinking bunt, but the way that Belo's been pitching, if you can give him 2 more runs, or if you can give him another run, you'd love to see him get through at least 1 more inning and shorten the game for your bullpen. But I don't know. My gut feeling is here with the way that they're swinging the bat that they're not going to play for the 1. They're going to go and try to open this game up just because they do probably feel confident in the fact that Belo's going to go out there and give you that 1 more, and he's been cruising through the last 6. So.
And then they get to turn it over to the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Rodriguez isn't what you would consider a true number 3 hitter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So again,
he is 2 for 3 tonight. Has 3 hits overall in the series.
And like you said, he'd been hitting 1 or 2 or 7.
7 or 8.
So.
And there's the bunt. It's popped up and just gets past Brazoban, taking it up Coronado, and he'll still get the out at first base. Brazoban's so close to handling that one on the fly, and if he does, it creates havoc for the team on offense. Generally, if you don't on the popped up bunt, you don't get an out, period, but Coronado right there nicely backing up. Well, the out recorded, 2nd and 3rd now with 1 away. That's really a heads-up play by Coronado, even though he, for a second, had trouble getting the ball loose.
Yeah, especially with Rodriguez busting down the line there. It's a great job of getting that out. And that, to me, was more of a get a bunt down, try to get a hit, but, it's not. You're not sacrificing your way out of that one. But
if Brazoban catches that ball, you might get out of the inning. Now the infield will draw in. Dorn pops it up. Will it stay playable? Coronado coming over, and no. That was
got a lot further than we thought.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get that far back at all.
I'm trying to peer out from under here, and that snuck 20 rows deep.
1 strike on Dorn. That was the type of pitch that Brazoban needed to make. Look at Frias. You want to talk about a free-spirited character. Vladimir Frias is it. Fun to watch on the field.
Guys who have fun on the field are generally fun to watch because they're out there doing something that they love to do. And it's just an infectious spirit. I love playing with guys like that.
1-1 to Dorn.
You can see
Coronado over for the foul ball, runs out of room, and Vladimir Frias decides he wants a piggyback ride.
He's just a big kid. I mean, you got to be honest. You love seeing that.
1-1, pulled down the right field line by Dorn, hooking, and a foul ball. And a broken bat.
Yeah.
That's some strength.
Yeah.
You break a bat and hit a ball that far. You get another look at Vladimir. Yeah, he's a heck of a player, is Vladimir Frias. But also one of those just slightly offbeat characters that makes the team work.
Yep. He's hard to have a bad day around, that's for sure. No, you can walk into the clubhouse and not be having. You can be 0 for 15. You sit down. If he's beside you, somehow you find yourself smiling.
He doesn't say a lot, and I don't want to get into the details, but he had the funniest line of the year last year, just from the background. He wasn't even in a conversation. And he just chimed in with something. I almost doubled over. Ground ball pulled foul down the line at first.
I want to see that swing again. That was like a surprise. It looked down and in. It didn't look like a strike, and it looked very defensive. That's what on earth? That's an Ichiro without the going the other way. Yeah. Excuse me, let me get my bat going through. But you've got him on the defensive now. We've got to find a way to get this one yourself or a shallow pop-up.
Fouled to the screen. Still 1-2. Brazoban against Dorn with runners at second and third. One out. I was actually in a conversation with Rico Noel and Casey Hobson at the time, and Frias just chimed in from the background.
We've seen 2 defensive swings here by Dorn in the last 2 pitches. But to me, if you have confidence in De La Rosa as being a backstop, you gotta throw a slider. You gotta really try to just bury that slider and let him eat that ball down in the dirt.
2-2.
Went with a changeup. Personally, I never had a great changeup anyway, but I don't really understand that because you're allowing a guy to put the ball in play, and even if he just lifts it over a drawn-in infield, that's one where he's a good enough hitter where if he puts bat on ball, he's probably just going to flare one in. So I think you got to go with something power.
2-2 pitch. Challenged him there. Fouled back.
That power pitch for me when I had 2 strikes was always a slider. Well, if I had a strike, it was a slider. If I was on the mound, I was probably throwing a slider.
Yeah, that was generally the case.
But personally, that's what I would like to see right now is just a buried slider. Even then, if you're going to go out and get it, you're going out to get it, and you're probably going to ground out weakly, and it gives your infield a shot. So you got to see something down in the dirt. There it is.
He got it. Swing and a miss. You made the call, Peter.
That's the one.
It's a big second out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one where you definitely, he knows, especially going into that at bat, that's one where you have to definitely get a guy to do something that you want him to do. You either strike him out or you pop him up. And you can see right here, it's just that ball just was in and out of the zone. We saw those uncomfortable swings the 2 pitches before that. Then you let him get back in the count with that the changeup high and away. And then you throw a fastball and change speeds on him, and he looked like he had a good swing on that. But then you throw that breaking ball, and again, just disrupt his timing. So really, really good job.
First base still open here. Another left-handed batter, Craig Massey. There's a fly ball to left center. Brazoban appears to have worked his way out of the jam. He has, as Sanford puts it away. Great job by Huáscar Brazoban after giving up back-to-back singles starting the inning. We're at the stretch here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The score remains 4-2 Somerset. Fast start for the Lancaster Barnstormers tonight on a Blake Galen home run, but Endy Chavez has had the hot bat for Somerset. He doubles home 2 to give the Somerset Patriots a 3-2 lead, a 4th run scoring on a Steve Johnson wild pitch. And Dwayne Belo has been holding the lead ever since. He gets into the 7th inning here, Pete. We didn't expect to see that the way this game started.
No, especially after those first 3 batters, like you said, it was just, we thought, if we can continue to do that, and we had 31 pitches after that first inning, and if you can keep on that pace, obviously you're probably not going to get 31 an inning, but if you can make him have an inning where it's 20, where it's 17, you can work your way up to 100 by the 4th or 5th. And to his credit, again, we've said that a lot. He's dominated the game after that first inning.
The Barnstormers have managed only 2 base runners since the first 3 batters of the night. Anderson De La Rosa had a double in the 5th, Blake Galen a leadoff single in the 6th, and neither one of those runners has moved an inch. Belo has been in command. He's walked 1. He has struck out 4. He'll face Nate Coronado starting the 7th. Nate has flied out twice, once to center, once to right. Belo ready to go. Coronado gets ball 1 upstairs. It is 1-0. Meanwhile, Sugarland has blown it open at Long Island. So the Barnstormers are going to have to come back in this one to maintain a 3-game lead, it appears. Ground ball chopped the 3rd, and it almost played Massey, but he stuck with it. It took a weird hop on the 3rd baseman. He was able to react and make the play, 1 down. Vladimir Frias stepping in.
It's a tough play just because that last little, I always called it the Super Bowl hop. You know, when you spun a Super Bowl, that second hop was just that one where it just kicked off. That hop is just tough to read because you don't know if you're going to get it every single time, and you don't know how every field reacts to that. But, you know, those are the ones where you can see a guy who just understands the position, understands glove placement, foot placement, and as a pitcher, you love seeing guys make those plays.
Frias is 0 for 2. He squares the bunt, draws it back, and looks to strike. Belo has pitched an outstanding ball game.
Man, who would have thought at the beginning of the outset of this game, after we go through those first 3 hitters, that he'd be here getting a quality start in the 7th inning? This is, I mean, by all means, it, you know, quantified as a quality start, but is much more than that.
Frias with a foul ball to the first base side. And he's still not at 100 pitches. He'll be there by the end of the inning. He's going to go through innings 2 through 7 the way things are going right now, having thrown about 70 pitches over those 6 innings. And Sugarland's up 7-2 and still batting in the 7th inning.
Good spot.
Just
Good
inside.
spot.
Ooh, that was close. I think officially that's 98 for Belo.
So from after that first inning, we've talked he's through 5 1/3 and
just 2 base
67
runners.
pitches. So we're talking 13 pitches an inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Frias. Fouled in our direction.
You said that Sanford had a 13-pitch walk last night, and now like we had said, you want to try to keep your innings under 15 pitches. And I always tell my high school kids that. I tell any pitcher that I work with, your goal is to keep your inning under 15 pitches. When you face one guy who gets 13, it's a struggle, but you've seen how well he's done at dictating the pace of the game and the flow, where he's averaging legitimately 13 pitches an inning, which is...
Did he go on that? He didn't. 2-2. Yeah, it
just speaks to him, yeah.
Realistically, a little bit under 13 pitches an inning, depending on how it goes. Right now, he's at 100. But over the last 5 innings, 62 pitches, so that's around 12. And exactly what you want to do. He had a 20-pitch inning in the 5th. Never gave up anything but the De La Rosa double.
Yep. And then those innings
check
before
swing
that
again, and again Frias holds.
Those 2, he had a back-to-back 11-pitch innings, right?
He had
the second and third were 11,
10.
11 and 10.
And an 8-pitch 6th inning.
Oh. To be able to go through 3 innings in any stretch of the game where you're throwing 11, 10, and 8, 29 pitches.
Payoff pitch coming to Frias. He just wants to get on base here.
You got to find a way. It's a huge at-bat.
3-2. Popped up instead. Belo continues to make quality pitches. Second baseman Francoso puts that away. And like we've said, there's been no pattern. Just when you think he's getting ground outs, he'll pop somebody up or strike somebody out. There really hasn't been a hard hit out. No,
the hard hit that he gave up was the double down the line by De La Rosa. but he worked his way out of that. And the only other time the ball was hit hard, it was a foul ball.
All right, so Galen's single last inning.
Yeah.
The Barnstormers had a season low 4 hits. De La Rosa stands in with 2 outs and the base is empty. The delivery, and Anderson gets underneath this. A fly ball down the left field line. Long way to go for everybody. Ooh. The bullpen scatters and nobody could get there. Man, it looked like stepping on an anthill for a second. Guys in blue, they're picking up furniture. They're trying to clear room. Look at this. It was a whole bevy of activity.
And then you're getting yelled at by the left fielder, the shortstop, whoever's over there. Like, hey, pick up your stuff, guys. What are you doing? You don't do anything all day. You just sit there, and then you have to hear about that, and then you come into a game and you get outs, and then you're your best friend.
Well, the bullpen hasn't been active, so they're just sitting around on the lawn furniture down there.
Just guests.
They could be sipping lemonade.
Yeah.
A little umbrella in it. Topper towards shortstop, handled deep by Alfredo Rodriguez. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Just 11 pitches here. This has been some outing for Dwayne Bilo. We'll go to the 8th, 4-2 Somerset. Each team has scored in just 1 inning here tonight. We had a similar game Sunday at Long Island, a 3-run bottom of the 3rd for the Ducks, a 4-run top of the 8th for the Barnstormers. Tonight it's Somerset with that 4-run inning. Now here's Matt Marksberry on for the top half of the 8th inning. Now, earlier this year we had talked about Isaac Wenrick, man who played for the Barnstormers for the first 3 weeks or so of the season, now with the Road Warriors, who almost had a fatal coronary 2 years ago. Matt Marksberry has a similar story. He, following the 2016 season, it was in the middle of a medical procedure and all of a sudden went into a seizure and his lung collapsed and he was in a medically induced coma for 2 days. Fortunately snapped out of it. He's fine. No reports on exactly what caused that. That's scary stuff. First pitch to Kyle Roller is low, ball 1 and no strikes. So a couple of young guys you wouldn't think, and arguably otherwise perfectly healthy guys whose health all of a sudden just went very, very bad very, very quickly. Wow. And fortunately both survived. 1-0 to Roller. Skied out the left field, long way to go. Trayvon Robinson, he'll give it a look. That ball's carrying up onto the hill. 1-1, the count to Roller.
That first pitch that he threw to Roller, well, it was a ball, but get a good look. Just missed it. You got to judge that. Get to the spot first. Set your feet.
We've had some great plays out on the hillside this year. That one will not rank among them. Chance for your 15 seconds of fame, and just can't manage it. 1-1 to Roller, high and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Now, the problem with Marksberry has been just getting himself established in a game. And once he does, he's very tough, but the first batter has reached base all but 4 of his appearances so far.
That's been our big theme today, is just that ability to get the first guy out.
Swing and a miss here. It's 2-2 on Roller.
The stuff is there. We've talked about that.
Yeah, he's got good stuff.
Yeah. It's just getting that stuff consistently in the zone where you aren't trying to guide it when you need to. So you got to be confident and comfortable with the fact that your body can do it, your mind can do it, and you got to get over that hump. So big pitch right here.
Here's the 2-2 on Roller, foul back. Will stay with the 2-2 count. John Anderson, an inning and 2/3. He gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, but froze not only his own runner, but the 2 inherited runners. Wasker Brazaban got off to a rough start in the 7th inning, pulled himself out of it, kept the Patriots off the scoreboard.
And not necessarily, to me, a mistake by Ross, but for me, I would want to see it's a good pitch.
Just outside,
it's a good spot.
3-2.
When you've been out of the zone, and you might have a reputation as a guy who walks a lot of people. You don't want that to happen, but an umpire might have that in his mind already, that you're not a guy who's consistently hitting that zone. So, preconceived ball going into that. But for me, like I was getting at, you kind of want to see Anderson get in there one batter earlier, because that wild pitch that scored the 4th run. If you're especially in this ballpark, when you're 1 run away, all you need is an out. All you need is a guy at the plate to be able to do some damage. And that, to me, it was such a huge at-bat. And it was right on left and it may have been that Anderson wasn't ready, but if he was ready, then that, to me, is a situation where you got to make that move.
Payoff is inside. It's another first batter walk for Marksberry. 8 pitches it took for Roller. And there's a runner aboard with nobody out. Jovan Gonzalez stepping in. And Matt's aware it's a problem. He's got great stuff. I mean, when he gets it going in a game, he's deadly.
Yeah.
Just a question of getting locked in. First pitch misses high to Gonzalez, 1-0.
It's the free bases.
But the question is it a physical issue or is it a psychological issue? And I don't know the answer to that.
You know what? And he might not even either. So it's an odd thing. Pitching is so difficult to do because everything has to come out perfectly. And you can throw a really good pitch and have it get hit 450 feet. Or you can throw a really poor pitch and get a strikeout. So it's so hard to do day in and day out, and it's so hard to do if you are a little bit in your own head. So we've talked about it's not him getting hit all over the yard, and it's not his stuff. So I remember the last time we were here when we were talking about this and we saw him out there, it's got to be a little bit psychological to me. And in those situations, maybe it's just somebody coming up to him and having a sit-down conversation where it's not like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or look at this, or why don't we try to fix this mechanically. Just, hey, relax. Come up with a pre-pitch routine or a pre-pitch mantra. I always had a funny one in college.
3-0. That's ball 4.
That's
first and second
again,
now.
That's just it's the 3 pitches prior to that make that one a ball, where that one is not a ball. If we're talking letter of the law and our strike zone is or whatever, right below the Somerset or the Patriots on his jersey, right at the Patriots number or name to his knees, then that's a strike. And you can't go outside the zone and say, nope, that's a ball because he's crouched down, or this is my zone. The zone is the zone, and if you're gonna give the low pitch on the breaking ball to some of those ones, then you can't start taking that away because he didn't get that low fastball to Roller on the first pitch. So, especially for a guy now, he's like, oh my gosh, it's first and second. I've made some pretty good pitches. I had an 8-pitch at bat that I worked, didn't get a first pitch strike call, Now I got a 4-pitch walk where I legitimately probably threw 2 strikes.
Mike Francoso, the second baseman, will come to the plate. He is 1 for 3. Bounced into a double play in the second, singled in the 4-run fifth, grounded out in the 6th inning. Well, Marksbury's been known to bounce back from this and get 3 outs in a row and not give up any runs.
But yeah, we talked about it. It's with him. It's probably more he's in his own head and giving him maybe something to calm him down before every pitch, something that he can just sit there and take a deep breath and think about.
There's a bunt and a good one. Nobody went for it. Garcia charges, gets off the throw, not in time. And the bases are loaded with Patriots.
It's a great spot for that bunt because you've got a lefty who falls off to the third base side. If you can just clear the pitcher, and that's a great play. I mean, he's safe, but that's a fantastic play to come in there.
And Garcia did everything he could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marksbury couldn't go for that ball, and
just
Hobson went for the bag. That's just a deadly spot for that drag bunt.
It is what it is there.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Paccioli steps in. Somerset with a chance to break it open. And unless the Barnstormers can get out of this, it looks like the lead in the division is going to be back down to 2, and Somerset's lead will be back to 2 on the other side. First pitch strike in on Paccioli. It's 0-1. Now, it is not impossible. We've seen it before. Marksbury could go strikeout, strikeout, strikeout here. He's got that capability.
You can see Ross's game plan here. We're in the top of the 8th. You play not to give up any more runs, so you bring the infield in a situation where we're talking in the 4th or 5th inning. You probably got your middle back, and you're going to play for 2 outs over that. But what we're looking at right now is you don't want to give any more. You don't want to. You're willing to kind of let this inning get away from you in order to have it stop
or
at
try
0.
To stay at
yeah,
4
it's
to
either
2.
it's either at 4-2 or it's we're probably looking at 7-2.
A ball is inside from Marksbury, 1-2. Paccioli struck out looking in the 6th against John Anderson. You get a strikeout here, you have a chance to get out of the inning. Left-handed batting Julio Bourbon waiting on deck. Marksbury's pitch foul to the screen. Paccioli hangs in. Marksbury, coming into tonight, had walked 17 and struck out 17 in 16 1/3 innings.
Oh, that's that. Those stats tell you that there's stuff. It's just not obviously consistent. So, going back to that finding a pre-pitch routine, finding something to calm yourself down so that you can focus on every single pitch and not get 2 pitches ahead of yourself. Because we're seeing it right now. He battles. He's a competitor, and it's what you want. You want to see this kind of competitive nature, competitive fire, but it kind of stinks to have to see that when it's bases loaded, nobody out. And it's not. I'm not saying that you don't see it when there's nobody on, nobody out, but now to have to really dig down and do your best stuff to get out of this inning without giving up a run, and it's tough.
Paccioli fights him at 1-2. De La Rosa running through the signals, and time is called.
With any other pitcher right now, 1-2, De La Rosa's probably sitting there saying, okay, you know what, let's bury a slider. I'll block it up. Step on the plate, we'll be good. If you trust the fact that he can get back in the zone.
Up 2-2.
See, that to me is a pitch where you don't trust his ability to get back in the zone, so you're trying to go right at the numbers and have a guy chase in the zone to just out of the zone instead of throwing that really devastating slider, because now if you throw it here, you're looking at 3-2 if he takes. And
here's a 2-2 offering, chipped foul. Paccioli has fought off some good pitches.
So that to me is a byproduct of that not having the confidence to just be in the zone and throw your best stuff in the zone, which is tough when you have bases loaded, nobody out. You want to throw your best stuff, but you also know if you miss with that deadly breaking ball, then you're looking at a 3-2 count, and now you kind of you get a little antsy and you start pulling things back a little bit.
2-2 pitch, bounced to short. Frias had to let it go. He'll get the force out at third, and that is all as a run scored.
It's a really heady play, though. In that
Screen by the runner.
yeah, and you saw him kind of backstep, juggle his feet, fielded it. There's no way he can get an out at second. All right, and it took him that way. You get there, you give up the 1 run, yeah, but you still have a double play in order. So he knows he's not going to turn 2 at second, and for him to get that lead runner at third is just a really heady play by a guy who we've seen definitely has fun out there playing the game.
First and second with 1 out and a run home. Somerset up by 3. Frias was trying to charge that play and throw home, but he couldn't do it because the runner was right there.
Yeah.
Inside to Bourbon for ball 1. And he had Gonzalez in his path. And he had to pull up, and with that, he was on his heels.
And he made the right read and the right play.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people would have done that.
Unfortunately, Coronado was over there to cover. 2-0. The count on Bourbon. You've got another left-handed batter on deck, and Endy Chavez. Barnstormers have won 6 of the first 7 against Somerset this year, which doesn't happen often. That's lifted out the left. Robinson will backpedal and make the catch. Heading back to tag and then pulling up is Francoso. Second out of the inning. Bourbon flies out. Now it is Chavez. He's 2 for 4 with 2 very big runs batted in. Last night the Barnstormers came back from the Chavez multi-run hit in the 5th inning. Tonight they haven't.
So that Frias play, that heads-up play, the play before, saves a run at least for now. And the fact that if you go to second and you even take the lead runner at second, and let's say you can get that guy, now you're at first and third, and that line drive out to left field and Trayvon, he's not going to be able to square up and throw the guy out. So you're looking at a 6-2 game rather than 5-2.
Fouled off by Chavez. It's 0-1. Well, you talk about Marksberry and competitiveness. He very much has a competitive fire. He is an intense fellow, but a very likable guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit. I'm not sure I've gotten to know him quite as well as I would like to or should have, but he is a wonderful guy. Fits in very well in this ball club. And I suppose an experience like he did have will put life in perspective, just as Isaac Wenrick says it had for him. 0-1. And a Chavez popped up foul and out of play 0-2. Marksberry's been to the big leagues with Atlanta. Last year, I'm told Somerset had him for a day and then they kind of decided that they may not want to take the risk. And he ended up going to Quebec City in the Can-Am League for a while. Barnstormers have him here.
He is one of those guys, like you've seen, the stuff is there, so it is a risk-reward situation where if he's on, and he's good. And that's it.
He had Chavez thinking about that one anyway.
When he's in the zone, when he's in the zone, it's not comfortable. They're not comfortable at bats for anybody, especially for a left-hander. But when he starts you off and it's 2-0, then you kind of just start getting comfortable, and you can anything in the zone you feel okay about.
1-2 pitch on Chavez. Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and Endy Chavez knew it. Well, Marksberry gets out of it with just 1 on 1 hit and 2 men left on. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 5-2. Somerset leads. Left-hander Mike Antonini taking over from Dwayne Belo as we go to the home half of the 8th inning tonight. Belo, from the third batter of the game on, was terrific. He retired all but 2 batters in a 23-hitter stretch, 21 out of 23 set down by Belo, and the Barnstormers will get another very good lefty in Mike Antonini, a former member of the Bridgeport Bluefish. He has a 1.77 ERA, 2-2 in his 16 appearances on the season. He's given up only 10 hits in 20 and a third innings, so that's some quality work as well. Garcia, Sanford, and Galen stepping in for the Barnstormers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Lancaster needs to go on the attack. They did it Sunday. They scored 4 in the 8th against the Long Island Ducks and a left-hander by the name of Asher Tolliver. And then Dennis O'Grady came in, and Coronado got to him for a 2-run double, but the runs and the subsequent run that scored on a pass ball all belonged to Tolliver. He had given up 4 base runners. Garcia tonight 0 for 2. He's lined to center and struck out. Antonini to the plate, swing and a miss by Carlos. It's 0-1. This is an uncharacteristically low performance by the Barnstormers hitters. Belo, of course, has a lot to do with that. Lancaster has not been held to fewer than 3 runs in a game since June 2nd in a 1-0 victory in the first game of a doubleheader against Southern Maryland.
We're talking about a game where the first 2 batters of the game scored.
Yeah. 1-1. Garcia swings and misses. It's a ball and 2 strikes now. Sanford and Galen to follow. Lancaster trailing by a 3-run margin now, and that's a whole lot harder to make up than a 2-run margin. You've got to get 2 guys on in front of a ball onto the Haller picnic deck.
And the best thing that I think Belo did was go from that 30-pitch inning to now being the bridge to your late inning guys, where very few of us could have seen that one actually coming, where he would be the guy to get you to your 8th and 9th inning guy.
Well, not the way the game started.
Oh, absolutely. You'd think that there'd be at least 1 or 2 guys in between him, because you put a 20-pitch inning in him, and now you're at 50, and for him to efficiently use his 100 pitches. Oof.
Garcia goes down looking, strike 3 called. 22 out of 24 now retired by the Somerset left-handed cadre. And that'll bring on Darian Sanford. He had a base hit to start the night. But Lancaster, you look at what Somerset has done in this game. The Barnstormers haven't stolen a base. 22 of the last 24 batters have been retired. When you keep the Barnstormers off base, they can't steal the next one. They can't get into that running game.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened tonight. Somerset has pitched magnificently. Here's a ground ball and a diving play made by Rodriguez. And, yeah, you're not going to get Darian Sanford with that. Nice try, Alfredo.
Heck of a play. I think when he got up, he realized and kind of just tossed the ball over and said, you know what?
At some point, it dawned on him who was running.
Yeah. You can see a great swing. He gets to the hole. He gets it, and he says, oh, you know what?
Oh, it's Sanford.
Never mind.
It's Sanford.
I'm
Forget
good.
it. And that's not happening.
But this is what we saw at the beginning of the game. Sanford got on, and it kind of changed the dynamic of those first couple pitches. And we even saw that to a lesser degree when De La Rosa was on, or no, he was on second base, so it wasn't really a hang and look kind of move from Belo when I believe Frias was on first base. It was a little bit different, and I think we could have worked the count a little bit better, but we'll see how it pans out here.
5 Barnstormer hits. Now here's Galen swinging and missing against Antonini. Blake with a home run and a single tonight. He and Sanford have 4 of the 5 Lancaster hits. Anderson De La Rosa, the only guy from batters 3 through 9 with a base hit in the game. He had a double in the 5th. Good-looking pitch fooled Galen there. Trayvon Robinson waiting on deck. Throw to first base and Sanford back in. Somerset's set up pretty well this inning with Antonini against a left-handed batting lineup. The Barnstormers are almost forced to have in there right now. to the plate and low. Galen will bat at a ball and a strike. It's important for Blake to get on base here. And the reason I say that is Trayvon Robinson's on deck, and he has been the master of late-inning miracles for the Barnstormers lately. Every time Lancaster comes back, somehow Trayvon has a role in it, and a big role. It's a Galen 1-1 pitch. Spotted on the outside corner, strike two.
That's a great pitch. I mean, that's another one like we talked about where you have the umpire over the right shoulder of the catcher, lefty working from the front hip of the left-handed batter over that side. It's to me, it's not a strike, but it's a hard pitch for that umpire to call.
Sanford chased by a throw to first. Even down by 3 runs in the 8th inning, you have to be suspicious when it's Darian Sanford.
Yeah.
32 stolen bases on the season, 10 in the last 7 games.
Because you're still not...
It could start something.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you get to second base and the next thing's a base hit and you can score him, now you only have to score 2 in the 9th. So
yeah, he's going to go, and they're going to nail him. He almost beat that relay throw, but not quite. He guessed wrong on Antonini. The Barnstormers lose their runner. Sanford out 1-3-6. The Barnstormers are going to have to start all over again, and it's 1-2 to Galen. Only Sanford could even make that close. But they had him.
That's when you get picked off in that situation, and it's tough to reroute kind of, but you would have liked to see him kind of take at least a step or two into that. Smack.
Galen goes the other way, a deep fly ball. Pacioli retreats, and this ballpark will hold it in.
Anywhere else.
Well, Blake Galen going the other way. This inning dies quickly. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. So the Barnstormers are going to have a big 9th. They trail through 8, 5-2. Lovely night at Clipper Magazine Stadium, unless you've been a Barnstormers hitter trying to deal with Dwayne Belo and Mike Antonini. It's been problematic for the Lancaster hitters tonight. Somerset with that 4-run uprising in the top of the 5th. Usually the Barnstormers answer it with this offense, the top offense in the league. But tonight they've just been shut down by Somerset's lefties.
Yeah, like you said, both lefties did just a really good job of A, controlling the running game, and B, controlling the hitters and masterminding tempo and rhythm and just their comfortability at the plate. It wasn't a lot of comfortable at-bats for those hitters.
Steven Johnson works the 9th. Here's Alfredo Rodriguez leading off, 2 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt tonight. Johnson's first pitch misses badly, ball 1, but you might as well miss by 3 feet as opposed to 6 inches. Doesn't matter. Johnson, another Barnstormer reliever has done a very good job this year. 1-0, 2.08 ERA in 16 appearances. The ball one pitch is hit in the air, fouled on the right field side, 1-1.
Have we had a game where Steve Johnson starts and Steven Johnson finishes?
Yeah, we've not finishes, but well, looks like we may have it tonight. Lancaster has Robinson, Hobson, and Desmay scheduled in the bottom of the 9th inning. Outside again, 2-1 to Rodriguez. It's been the 2 innings that started off with a walk to a Somerset batter. 4 runs in the 5th and 1 more in the 8th inning. Barnstormers have not had such an inning. The 2-1 pitch, Rodriguez with a fly ball foul again down the right field line.
This is my first time seeing Johnson. It looks like when he misses, that front side comes out a little bit. It's definitely the case on that first breaking ball. But if he keeps that front side in on that breaking ball, it is just. It looks like it.
He's
just
got nasty
swoops in
stuff.
there.
4th round pick out of a D2 school down in Austin, Texas.
I mean, you got to start this at the hip. This has got to start at the hip. If it's a breaking ball, you start at the hip and let it just swoop out.
2-2 in the air, right field. Galen will have this one measured coming on. That is out number 1. Pretty decent job all in all for the Barnstormers bullpen tonight.
What on earth? Oh!
Going over the broken bat deck and
broken ankle deck. My goodness.
We're going to have to post no jumping signs.
Oh, that hurt me. That hurt my shins.
Jump at your own risk.
Oh, boy. You saw in that at bat, you saw 3 pitches. You saw a fastball, slider, and changeup, and it's very rare that you see late inning guys. And again, I'm not entirely sure if he's a late inning guy or what his role has been or where he's been, but it's very rare that you see guys come in situations like this and utilize all 3 pitches. Normally they're a fastball slider guy or a fastball, and they'll have 2 different types of breaking balls, but very rare that you see a guy in this situation utilize a changeup, and especially to a righty. But it was a great pitch.
1-1 due to Dorn.
There it is.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Well, I guess when you have one like that,
yeah,
you use it. That's your out pitch. I want to see the slider again. After that first one that just worked its way from on the plate to way out, that's the one I want to see again. That's just me being selfish, though. When you have a changeup like that, you probably throw that again.
Stevens spent a year in AAA. I mean, with the Cincinnati Reds, he was traded even up for Marlon Byrd at one point in his career, so you know he's got something. Ground ball at Frias mishandled that one pretty badly. Dorn is on here in the 9th inning. We'll see how that's scored. I would call it an error, and it is. Ground ball to the backhanded side. All the very nice plays we've seen Vladimir Frias make in this series. It just kind of backed up on that one, and it caught him a little off guard. I think it stayed a little lower than he expected. 1 out, runner on. And here is Craig Massey. Barnstormers guilty of their first error of the game. Johnson goes to work, missing away. And a 1-0 count. Well, it sure looks as if the lead might be back down to 2. I'd like for a race to be easy one of these halves.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, my goodness.
No, you wouldn't.
Better on the nerves that way, 2-0. But I suppose when you're only playing 63 games, you can't expect it that way.
Nah.
Not going to be able to break it open. Barnstormers have had a lead as big as 5. Ball 3 now on Massey, 3-0.
Inconsistency in the zone tonight, and you saw that with Marksberry. Not so much Anderson. He was pretty much in the zone, but it just having those 1-1 counts that weren't won, or that first pitch not being a strike. So it's
Yeah, 3-1 to Massey, but the Barnstormers have walked 7 in the game. That just doesn't sit well when your manager was a pitcher who generally didn't walk very many.
It's
Walks are toxic.
exactly.
Swung on and missed, 3-2. Johnson fights back. Dorn, the runner at first, not a steal threat.
Just the free bases. You always want to stay away from, and you don't mind getting. I can live with 10 hits. You know, you can live with giving up 10 hits in a span of 8 innings. You can live with that because you can work around those. But if you walk 1-2 guys in an inning, and then
that's strike 3 on the inside corner. So after the 3-0 count, Johnson rallies. 2 outs, and Roller to step in. It's a good bounce back from Steven Johnson.
Oh yeah, that ball just tailed right back in, and I want to know that to me. And I'm sure this has probably never happened, but I can't be sure that it's probably never happened. But there's a strikeout there. He flipped up his bat. If De La Rosa comes in to try to make a throw somewhere and gets hit by that bat, what is that?
It would be an interference call, and the runner would actually be out if it's
as
strike
well
3.
as the strikeout.
Yep. If you get in the catcher's way in any way, shape, or form of making the throw to second base, and it's the 3rd strike, the runner is out too. If it's not the 3rd strike, the runner gets sent back, and you're out. 1-0, and that is crushed. Way back, and the city line may not have contained that one, but in any event,
that might have hit the light.
It hit the light tower.
That's the definition.
2-run home run for Kyle Roller. 8 of 23 home runs now for the Patriots have been hit in this ballpark. That was a blast by Roller.
That's the definition of light tower power. And where is it? Oh, there it comes.
Yeah.
And it still went out of the stadium. Hit the light, dropped straight down. Oh,
good heavens, that thing hit. Oh, Roller off the light tower. Ryan Redmanovich was the last Patriot I can remember doing that. Well, the runs will be unearned. That's the good
silver
news.
lining.
Error kept the inning going. Now here's Yovan Gonzalez in this 7-2 ball game. Ball is up 1-0. I mean, that baseball was hurt. Seams might have come off.
It was loud. It sure was.
I mean, Roller's a big guy. He's a 250-pound guy, and I don't think too much of that is last night's beer. Strike taken. It's 1-1, and that ball was punished.
You can see the action on that last pitch, though. That it's probably a ball again, but the fact that it just works its way back, and you give up on it so early. Gonzalez just gave up on that pitch early, and there's that slide.
Up the middle, base hit, and Somerset keeps going here in the 9th inning.
Not a lot. That one, you stay in there, but it's after you give up a home run like that, you probably don't have the bite and depth on the pitch that you're looking for, and it just stayed middle. But you saw the fastball before it. Gonzalez gave up on it early because it looks like, from his arm angle too, he's got a little whippy arm angle. So it starts out, looks like it's going outside, looks like it's going to finish 5 inches outside and finishes an inch outside. And as an umpire, you see that come back. You got to stay with it the whole time and call it strike.
One 1-0 on Francoso. Gonzalez perpetuates the inning with his 2nd hit of the game. He doesn't hit well overall, but man, he is torture on the Barnstormers. Yovan Gonzalez, from the very first game we faced him, he hit a walk-off home run opening night in Somerset last year. 2-0.
The hits are a byproduct of the inability to continually get in the zone and be in the zone early.
Rifled out the Galen. Blake is there.
Hard out.
It ends it. 2 additional runs for the Patriots in the 9th on 2 hits and an error, 1 left. And the Barnstormers need a boatload now in the bottom half of the 9th inning, trailing 7-2. One more in this series coming up tomorrow night. We'll have that for you here on BRC 11 at 7 o'clock. It will be Eric May in with me for the series finale, and barring a miracle, that will be the rubber game of the three-game series. But the beauty of baseball is you never know until that 27th out is recorded. Logan Kensing coming on in the bottom of the ninth. Robinson, Hobson, Desmay, and quite obviously the Barnstormers would need a few beyond that. The two-run home run by Kyle Roller in the top of this inning, putting this game further out of reach. That was hit really well.
It's an understatement.
I said Ryan Redmanovich was the last Patriot I saw hit a ball up into that light tower. A right-hander on the hill for Somerset. We'll see what Trayvon can do to get things underway. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Well, he tried to take out the Patriots in another way. Right into the dugout through the opening in the fencing.
Well, you got to find a way to start an inning, and at this point, you can't really.
Ooh, Jared Binner going racing over there. I think that got their trainer, Phil Lee. It did.
Trainer's got to go check the trainer.
Yeah. Jared running over to help out. Phil seems to be smiling okay, dazed a little
might
bit
just
by
be
that
because
one.
he got hit in the head and doesn't know.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Outside, a ball 1-1. I thought the medical staff was supposed to be off limits. He took a shot. Hit the wall and got Phil Lee in the back of the head.
I've seen that happen in dugouts that I've been. The worst, and I'll tell you a story. Since we're down 7-2 and we don't have much offense going right now, I was in Low A. We were in Greensboro playing in Greenville, and they have a kind of a Fenway situation because they were the Greenville Drive. They were part of the Red Sox organization, so their left field is kind of like the Green Monster. They've got those put-in numbers, and you can put them in. Somebody has to put them in, take them out. So there's holes in the outfield, and they don't put any of the numbers up right away when you're doing BP. They had everything open, and our second baseman, Brandon Turner was his name, I believe, and he goes out, the ball hits off the wall, just in BP because he was playing outfield as well. So we see a walk to start, and that's a start. So you just need a start. You need the next guy up. In this situation, your goal is to get the next guy up while you get on base. So it's just a good at bat, a good opening at bat by Trayvon, and you can see he's standing on first base, ready to roll now.
Second walk he's drawn tonight.
So the ball went off the wall. It hit him, 2 front teeth knocked out. He had to go get everything surgically done that evening. Comes back. He's obviously not in the lineup that day. He's sitting in the dugout. Foul ball just like that. He turns his head away. It hits the backside, hits his 2 front teeth again.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
It was awful.
You're a marked man.
Yeah.
strike to KC.
I think he retired like 3 weeks later. He said, you know what, if this is going to keep happening, I'm done. But it was like
Embarked on a new career as a dentist, right?
Yeah.
I'm going back to dental school after this. I know what those guys charge. Hobson swings and misses. Boy, he's just looking to find his stroke. Barnstormers tonight. Rico Noel has been unavailable tonight. Trayvon aboard. The Barnstormers need to build a monster rally.
And we've talked about sometimes you want to give guys that night off because it is in the middle of the year, and you need them to get, just even if there's nothing wrong, you get your body comfortable with yourself with just getting back.
There's another sharp foul, Hobson, and I've said this about KC. Everything he's hit hard since coming here has been pulled foul down the right side, and he's hit some missiles in that direction. Nothing out of the ballpark. We're just talking wicked line drives, but anything where he makes solid contact, he's out ahead. So the timing just not there yet for him. 2 strikes against Kensing. To Hobson. Strike 3 called on the outside corner at the knees. 6th strikeout for Somerset pitching in the game, the 3rd call.
That's a good 3 inches outside, it looks like.
Casey Hobson in a discussion with Dave Gabor. Ross Peoples will take it over.
Did he run him before that? Because he came back to get his money's worth. So usually usually you don't get back there unless you've been tossed out of the game. So I wasn't paying attention right away, but it kind of looked like he threw that arm up and got him out of there. But because normally you won't go back unless there's an exchange at least.
Well, we'll know if the game continues right now or if we have to wait for KC to depart. Grant Desmay is stepping in, 1 out, 1 on. We probably won't have a chance to see if somebody different plays the top of the 10th inning, but you never know. To Desmay, ball is low, 1-0. He's been held hitless tonight. I think this has been about Somerset's pitching more than anything else tonight. The Barnstormers have not pitched a strong ball game up and down through the 5 guys that have been out there. And the 1 oops defensively comes back to hurt. Ball 2 to Grant. Right now, you're just looking for base runners. You don't care how they get on.
No, not at all.
Desmay at 2-0. Coronado waits on deck. You'd like to build a little momentum for tomorrow.
Yeah, at least put some pitches in a late reliever. So that was the goal going in, and you thought you were going to kind of get there with those middle guys, but just never materialized. And Bilo did a great job of controlling the game after the first 3 hitters. Do we have a stretch of 22 out of 24 retired?
22 out of 24 before Sanford reached on the infield single in the 8th inning.
Then he was picked off and then
thrown out on the first move from the left-hander. Desmay probably taking here against Kensing. He does and looks at a strike. Barnstormers will keep taking walks. That right field porch always in play. Three and 1. Robinson takes off. Ball 4 is inside. And you're going to get first and second with 1 out. That's 2 guys on.
That's a start.
Coronado will look to join them in some way, shape, or form. 3 walks drawn now by the Barnstormers in the game tonight. Barnstormers taking 2 steps back into this game. Kensing has decent overall numbers, but he has had a hard time against the Barnstormers. He's given up 5 hits, 4 runs in 3 1/3 innings. and has a loss. He's going to get a visit from Big John, Big Bad John. John Hutton coming out. They always played that song whenever he came into the game in Somerset, so I just thought I'd make John feel right at home. You had Good Night, Sweetheart. He had Big Bad John.
Yep.
6'9" John Hutton. Now the pitching coach for the Patriots after years in their bullpen and the league's all-time saves leader. Trying to guide Kensing through this. First and second, one away. Nate Coronado steps in. Coronado 0 for 3 in the game tonight. 2 men on. You need to get 2 more. And then somebody could swing for the wall. The problem is you've got the power part of the lineup now. It's not really set up quite right. You're just going to have to keep stacking base runners.
Yeah.
First and second, one away. And Coronado will look at a strike, but I think he was planning to take one, considering Kensing had been wild.
Yeah, like you said, at this point, you don't care how they come. They just have to find a way on base, and if you string 4 hits in a row together, great. If you hit a home run, and it's funny, throughout the entire course of baseball, in a situation like this, you'd almost rather avoid a home run.
Yeah,
home runs
I
are
agree.
just rally killers. It's a weird phenomenon. It's a hit, and it drives a run in, but it just kind of stops your momentum. When you can keep driving, a base hit here, base hit there, walk, hit by pitch, error, whatever it may be, it just has such a different feel. But if you give up a home run, now a pitcher says, he's looking at him saying, okay, you know
the
what?
The bases are empty.
It's empty. I can just go attack now. And it becomes that much more difficult for the next guy up because it's, he's got to start something completely new.
1-1 pitch to Coronado. Kensing to the plate. That's grounded foul. 1-2. Sugarland has defeated Long Island 7-2 tonight at Bethpage Ballpark. The similar score here. Barnstormers looking for the dramatic here in the bottom of the ninth. They haven't gotten many good swings in throughout this ball game. Only 5 hits. The season low is 4. 1-2. Kensing to Coronado. That is low and bouncing, but saved by the catcher. His throw, though, not in time at third. Gonzalez made a heck of a stop. The ball jumped back up to him. Throw to third base, not in time to get Robinson. And we're going to have a bit of a dispute about that with Buzz Albert. Brett Jody coming out.
I think his foot got in, right? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think he got up.
I think he got in.
Yeah, that foot gets in, and the tag goes on the ankle. We'll see a better angle here. It's just he's got the glove down, but he doesn't get there.
Yeah.
He's safe. I
think he's safe. I think that's the right call.
Because in that situation, as a third baseman, you catch the ball and you put the tag in front of the bag, and that's it. You don't. If you swipe, you have a chance of missing the leg altogether or timing it wrong. You catch it, you put it down.
I mean, Gonzalez nearly made a magnificent play to get the second out. The only thing that really does for the Barnstormers is keeps them out of a double play here. So you're pretty much guaranteed 2 batters.
And I don't think Trayvon was trying to be overly aggressive. I think he thought that ball in the dirt, when it went up, that it was going past the catcher. So, in an inning like this, you don't want to use that. You'd rather almost not see that, and you want to make sure that the ball gets by first.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he thought, and when you see it like that, to have it pop up right there without going really back at all, and almost have a play at third like that. I mean, that was bang bang. You could easily be called out.
Yeah, it was easy to misread that too. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
The way the ball bounced, you think it's behind Yovan Gonzalez. Heck of a stop by Gonzalez, and then he got rid of it in a hurry. Payoff pitch to Coronado. This is huge. Here's the 3-2. He walked him.
All right.
That's 3. Now you see how big the home run in the top of this inning was. Otherwise, you'd be looking at Frias coming up with a chance to win it on a grand slam. 3 walks from Kensing, and Brett Jody is going to come out and make a switch. It now becomes a save situation, which I think a lot of people fail to recognize, but next guy coming in, I trust it's Ryan Kelly, but we'll get a number and double check to be sure. Now Kensing departs after walking 3 around 1 strikeout. He can't finish off the game, and the Barnstormers will get to face another right-hander when we come back. Here's Ryan Kelly taking over in the 9th inning. It is a save situation for him because the tying run is now in the on-deck circle, even though he does not need to get 3 outs here in the 9th inning, just 2. Bases are loaded on walks given up by his predecessor, Logan Kensing. And Kelly, though he has 8 saves, has been hittable. He has given up 11 runs, 9 earned on 17 hits in 17 1/3 innings. His ERA is 4.67. The Barnstormers have to keep this going. Vladimir Frias will come to the plate. He is 0 for 3. If he reaches base, then suddenly Anderson De La Rosa is the possible tying run.
So this is a safe situation, even if first base is unoccupied, correct? Because the runner on second gets you to within 3.
No,
and that's all.
No, it's the tying runs on deck.
Okay.
I always thought it was if
the guy on second could get you within 3 to make it a safe situation.
Now, then you'd need all 3 outs. He did.
Oh,
it's tying run on deck.
Really?
Frias with a swing and a miss. Down a strike here against Kelly. It is 0-1. Logan Kensing struggles to throw strikes. Barnstormers have gotten to Kelly for 4 hits and 2 runs in 2 innings this year. As I said, you don't have the power part of the lineup coming up. I think you're just going to have a steady stream around the bases. To Frias, he gets hit, and the tying run will come to the plate. 8th time this year, Vladimir Frias has been hit by a pitch. So we could have something developing. The batter is Anderson De La Rosa. He is 1 out of 3. Got it in the knee. Frias tied for the league lead coming into tonight and getting hit, and that'll put him in the lead. Now De La Rosa stepping in. Carlos Garcia is the on-deck batter. And then you get back around to Sanford. Though the Barnstormers are just going to have to keep base runners coming, one would think. De La Rosa can reach the deck.
I feel like we're churning butter here, just saying the same thing, but you just got to find a way to keep getting on base.
Fly ball foul down the right field side. It is 0-1.
Battling.
Well, wouldn't it be something? De La Rosa is 0 for 2 with the bases loaded this year. 2 for 9 driving in a runner from third base with fewer than 2 outs. You're not looking for a sac fly here. You've got to get on base too. You don't want to give up another out.
And the way they're playing him, if he can turn on one like he did down in that left field corner with that double, and they're playing no doubles obviously with their third baseman, but here's the
0-1 pitch. That stays high, a ball and a strike. We've had 3 walks and a hit batter in the inning.
That's all you need. You just need a chance. But they are way off the line in left field, and you get one in there, you're scoring 3 runs. And you got the tying run at second base then.
That's the big thing. 1-1 to Anderson De La Rosa. Kelly will come to the plate. De La Rosa pops it up, but that will carry out a play. It is 1-2. Bouncing around in front of us. It would be an amazing thing for the Barnstormers to pull this game out. But, of course, that is, as we said earlier, the beauty of baseball. There's Carlos Garcia. He will bat, barring a double play. 1-2, Kelly to De La Rosa. Here's the pitch. Anderson won't go for it. 2-2.
Power slider there with a good take. And again, it's even if you end the game at this point, what you did is force them to use another reliever in a high-pressure situation.
De La Rosa batting 2-2. Desmay, Coronado, and Frias on base here in the 9th inning. Here's the motion, the pitch. Ball 3. It is full to De La Rosa. And if he gets another one out of the zone, Carlos Garcia hasn't hit a home run yet, but he'll bat left-handed with that short porch out there. And he does have a little bit of pop. He had 6 home runs, I believe, last year.
Here we go.
3-2. This is a huge pitch. Payoff is due to De La Rosa.
Gonna go with a slider. Felt comfortable with the slider earlier. He's going with it
Here's
again.
the 3-2. Chopper to third. Could end the ball game. Step to third. Throw to first. A double play, and it's over. Nice try by the Barnstormers in the bottom of the 9th, but they made the right pitch at 3 balls and 2 strikes to coax the double play out of Anderson De La Rosa. 1 run scores. The Barnstormers lead 2. Rubber game of this 3-game series will be coming up tomorrow night. The Barnstormers with Tommy Shirley on the hill, and he will be opposed by right-hander David Kubiak. We'll have it for you here on Blue Ridge Cable beginning at 7 o'clock. Now for Pete Andrelzik, for all the cast and crew here on BRC 11 and at Clipper Magazine Stadium, I'm Dave Collins. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you at the ballpark.